Yay, baby. Hey, it's the Bennington Show on a Friday. I'm Ron Bennington. There's Gail Bennington.
Yo.
I am Ron Bennington. It's hard to believe, but next week is Thanksgiving. We'll be playing the big Thanksgiving show.
Ow!
From Hard Rock's Johnny's eighth wonder of the world, the Hard Rock Cafe, the old Paramount Theater in the beginning of Times Square. America's neighborhood. Stand long enough on Broadway and 42nd, and somebody who you know will walk right by you. Times Square. It's America's favorite neighborhood. Times Square. Hey, look, everybody. It's Mickey Mouse with his head off. Isn't that the naked cowboy? Times Square. It's going to be a lot of fun. That's next Thursday and Friday. We'll be playing that. Shows like The Bonfire joining us, the AA Show, the Jim and Sam Show, and Voss and Bonnie.
So awesome. We had so much fun with those guys.
Voss and Bonnie made out in the middle of Times Square in front of everyone.
That did happen.
All the years of knowing them, I never saw them lock lips like that.
They were Frenching.
They were. I think there was a French going down. French! We started off with a little REM. And as hard as this is to believe, those fellas are going to be dropping by here today. It's 25 years since Automatic for the People. 25 years.
I kind of don't believe it's going to happen. It's too surreal to even imagine. So I'm just going to just assume that it won't because it's too weird.
It'll be Mike Mills and Michael Stipe. In anticipation of this, I went back and listened to Automatic for the People, and that set me down that goddamn crazy, and I just started listening to song after song. They may be the most consistent band in rock history. It's amazing how many great albums they have.
Yeah, like the amount of perfect albums. Like a band could have one perfect album, and I'll go, that's a great fucking band. And this is like so many. And Automatic for the People, I wouldn't even say is my favorite album.
Not my favorite either.
And then you re-listen to it and go, well, that's flawless.
It's a fucking great album. It's a great album. Night Swimming.
Deserves a quiet night. That's like,
that's good.
I think that's my favorite.
You should have sang that on Thanksgiving.
I don't know if it would have been the same pop from the crowd, but
instead of 4 non-blondes.
Which also could be the name of this show.
Yes, it could be, since no one here is a blondie, except for Vito Calisi. Vito Calisi is sick. He's in the other room with Chris Stanley. Both of them are just germ-carrying producers.
Quarantined in the other room.
Hey, I got a great idea. We put Michael Stipe in a Almost Bennington t-shirt.
Be great.
Take the picture, and then we write underneath it, Michael Stipe thinks this is a cool shirt. Or is that too blunt?
No, I think that's perfect. By the way, I don't want either one of you near Michael Stipe. Like, I don't want that to be...
I wouldn't want it if you're both as healthy as fuck. Also, today, another person being talked about for the Oscars. There's a movie out or coming out called Tanya, which is based on the Tanya Harding story of the 1990s. And Allison Janney is going to be here today. She plays the mom, and there's Oscar buzz for her.
Yes, she is quite evil as the Tanya Harding mom.
The Tanya Harding mom is a terrible person, like her daughter, son-in-law, and quite frankly, in my opinion, and I may have been remembering this wrong, but I don't remember Nancy Kerrigan as being a very nice person either.
No, she had a coldness to her.
She had a coldness and a prettiness that made it seem like we didn't have the word mean girl yet.
Yeah.
But she came off that way. And that's, it might be just because that whole thing was a pain in the ass, but those were ugly days. We think today's are the only ugly days. So, and that's not all. The queen of rock and roll, Ronnie Spector.
Yeah!
We've got it all today.
I know.
This is a big, big show we're doing here. This is as good as any show in the history of pop radio. We got Oscar winners. We got Grammy winners. We got the very start of cool girl group rock and roll.
The best of the best, I think.
The best of the rest, you know? The besters of the jesters. So if you want to get yourself an almost famous t-shirt, Chris, you're out of this because I've been hearing that Vito's doing the straight up great plugs on it. Vito, a lot of good feedback for the cool plugs you were doing yesterday.
You go to the BenningtonShow.com.
Push that man out of the way. Push that man out of the way. He's sick anyway.
You go to BenningtonShow.com and you get a t-shirt there, and it's a great Christmas present. You can give it to somebody on Thanksgiving as a pre-Christmas present. There's so many different things you could do with this shirt.
Just wear it mostly.
You're QVC, brother. You're QVC. Look, you take it like this, you turn it backwards, you put it up. It's very soft.
Buy it extra large, wear it as a dress.
The other night, I heard one of the people say like this, it's as soft as bread.
What kind of bread do you eat?
And then Kashmir said it was as soft as mashed potatoes. Kashmir looked lovely, didn't he?
He did. He was very stylish. Rocking boots, obviously.
He was dressed, I felt like Scarface, like the movie Scarface.
Yeah, like a
we
cool
have a suit and a Hawaiian shirt because that's his thing now.
It's a good look on him.
If you'd like to give us a phone call today, 844-ROCK-GOD, 844-ROCK-GOD. And it's, of course, at Bennington Show in the Twitter tweets, The Bennington Show at Gmail. But 844-ROCK-GOD, if you like to say, all right, and people are saying this, Adrian is on Twitter rocking a shirt. Did we retweet her? Let's see what she looks like.
I want to see.
You know, she's such a pretty girl.
I know, I feel like she's a perfect model for it, so.
What about Vito? You don't think he's a perfect model?
No. Mm-mm. Oh, look at how cute.
She's adorable.
She's the cutest thing.
Those are sexy nerd glasses, too.
They look like librarian glasses.
Librarian?
Librarian.
You said librarian. Like, I didn't even know people took
You're sick.
it that far. Librarian.
We're going to find Chris's outtakes the other day because for some reason, Chris had us all laughing because he only had one line, but it just sounded so funny and unnatural that it made me the happiest I've ever been.
It was very silly, and we were almost not able to pull it off because he was making me so silly. Like, I couldn't believe.
Hey, Chris,
Really
there's another groping allegation. This one from the NFL.
No.
Yes.
Is it Chris Collinsworth?
It's terrible to say. Chris Collinsworth years ago said he liked banging high school girls.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I remember seeing that and was very uncomfortable. But I've always had a feeling about him.
This is a guy that this one has been arrested before or at least accused of sexual assault. And also, and here's the big, so everybody ready to ring in, of stealing crab legs. Yes, Chris.
Jameis Winston?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
When I get mad at him when the Bucks are losing, I call him Rapey McCrab Legs. I go, maybe if Rapey McCrab Legs would pay attention. It's terrible the way we treat people. It's terrible the way we judge them.
Wow, I hadn't heard that Jameis Winston's now in trouble.
It just came up. It's just BuzzFeed just buzzed it out, and everyone's sending it to me.
He's been having a really bad season. This is not anything better.
2016, he allegedly groped an Uber driver.
What?
Oh, God.
A dude?
I don't know. It doesn't say. Does it matter, Chris?
I guess not.
It actually doesn't matter.
No, it says Kate. Feel better about that.
Assault is assault, Chris.
Assault is assault.
Assault. Unless you assault.
Assault. Send him an Almost Bennington t-shirt.
Got it.
That'll make him feel better, I think.
To Jameis.
Even Rapey McCrablegs loves the almost Bennington.
Oh, I always thought his name was Jameson. In my mind, I just filled in the blank because I didn't realize Jameis is a name. I just assumed it was Jameson.
Jameson, I know these crabs are killing you. It's a terrible league this year. That fucking blowout last night.
Ugh.
Just a blowout.
Yeah, it was a terrible beatdown.
The two teams that have the best record in the NFC, the best record in the NFC, darling, and the best record in the AFC, Pennsylvania teams.
See?
Between them, they have 6 Super Bowls.
It's amazing. It's a great state.
It's a keystone state. You take Pennsylvania out and the whole thing falls to shit. It's a newly red state. We love you, Donald Trump. Last night I was at the stand and I did the Donald Trump water bottle thing. I just, like that. And it's like, I wish I did nothing else but that. I go quick impression Donald Trump drinking water.
He said like you sound like a little raccoon.
Yeah. Then I said the bottle should be upside down. And he's just sucking on it like a little ferret.
Really, I'm worried about those shoulders of his. Somebody's got to work on those. Like,
I think they're going to have to
fascia.
be. Yeah, I think they're going to have to be broken and reset. I think he broke them years ago and never knew it.
I was going to guess Favre also after Chris Collins.
You're a racist, Chris.
I'm just saying he sent that dick pic and it got sent
number
out.
4.
Did Favre send a dick pic, like an unsolicited dick pic? Or?
Yeah.
Unsolicited dick pic to a very nice young lady. We should find the Favre calls. Years ago, we did the Favre calls of Brett Favre leaving messages. And for some reason, I don't know, it was all the rage. Who are you most excited about today coming in?
Well, I'm going to say Michael Stipe and Mike Mills. But it's only because I've met Ronnie Spector before is probably why. Yeah. But yes, I'm so excited. And like I said, it's a little bit surreal to me right now. Like I can't really wrap my head around it actually happening.
I'm telling you, I spent last night, like I went back and listened to the album, which, I probably haven't done in a long time. And it's a fucking tremendous album. And I'm like, what else have they done? I just spent the rest of the night going like this. Holy shit. I mean, deep tracks like fucking Perfect Circle. Just track after track after track. That's just amazing. Ryan in Austin, what's happening, buddy?
Yeah, are we giving out ways to sell this shirt? Suggestions for QVC?
Sure.
Okay. Well, I just thought it'd be nice, if you want to dress up one of your couch pillows, you got an old dirty couch pillow, wrap it in a nice Bennington shirt.
That's perfect.
That's a fantastic idea.
That's
Thank
a great
you, Ryan.
Idea. That is so good.
I like to put one on the dog and then I laugh. I'll be like this. Oh, Bertie, you don't listen to the radio.
She thinks she's people.
I've seen you walk right past that radio, Bertie. Vito, tell us again how we can get the lovely shirt.
You go to BenningtonShow.com. And
it's easy, dude. Like sell it like it's a friendly thing.
Why are you yelling?
Not a screaming thing.
I would love to get you guys 2 sets of headphones.
Why is that
Is
so
there
hard?
a way that we can do this?
The somebody from another show must have taken the extra pair of headphones outside of here.
The somebody.
So I'm throwing out accusations in that department.
Not really. You'd be accusing someone, not the somebody.
The somebody.
But you can go to BenningtonShow.com and you can get a sick T-shirt and you can send it to your friends. Like sick isn't awesome. Like fresh.
I thought because you're shipping it out, it's going to make people fucking get typhoid.
I'm not touching that T-shirt. Well, that is somebody else that is healthy as an ox.
Did we find the Favre calls? So this is what happened. Brett Favre was, not only did he send an unsolicited dick pic, it wasn't the kind of dick that you want to share.
Right.
Yeah.
You need to bring your A game.
Yeah, or your A dick.
Mm-hmm.
And then he left messages on her answering service. So I guess we went out and found them. This is Brett Favre.
Please leave a message at the tone.
Hey, I'm talking to you on my cellular telephone, so, what up? Dude, raising the roof. Hey, I thought maybe you want to come over here and go in the hot tub with me, and we got Jell-O. So, whatever. Whatever happens, happens. Let's let nature take its course. Stupid Packers are on TV tonight. Don't you hate them? And those dumb cheese hats. I moved from there. Don't worry, I ain't got a man's dick, so come on over. If you want to stop by, get in the hot tub, blow me. Hey, girl, you want to roll by here? Oxy Cotton. Hey, big of a box of beer. Come on over here, Brett Favre.
Please leave a message at the tone.
Hey, girl. Brett Favre. I got to move some furniture, so I can't come over. Sorry. My dad's mad at me. But, whatever. Whatever. I thought you might want to come by and watch One Tree Hill. I just found out that I've been driving the last 2 weeks without a windshield on my truck, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know if you saw the game last week, but I was pretty drunk for it. You got any oxys?
Please leave a message at the tone.
I hope you don't mind. I got your digits, right? I'm making some cheddar. Are you in that answer machine? I'll throw football. I thought you want to come over here dancing with the stars is on. I thought you want to come over and get on all fours. I'll grease up your asshole. Hey, hold on. I'm going to send you a picture of jerking off first. All right, I'm going to finger my ass and send you a picture. I got some banana butt lube. I'm going to take it all the way in. Listen, I got to go out and get out back and get a pail of water. Come back in here. Our bathroom caught on fire and almost got to the house.
Please leave a message at the tone.
Hey, Brett Favre, football player. Listen, I'm jacking off over here. If you want to start jacking off over there, maybe we both be jacking off together on the phone. Oh, one last thing. I like vaginas, so if you got one, bring it. Bring your vagina over here. Oh, another thing. Seriously, don't you just hate the Packers? Packers fucked up when they got rid of number 4, Brett Favre. Listen, there's going to be some Hall of Fame dance they asked me to. I guess I got to say a certain speech.
Please leave a message at the tone.
Hey, did that guy pass you the note from me? There's going to be a dance. Hey, it's QB. Listen, sorry, there was a captain's meeting, so it took me a little time to call you. Excuse me. Hold on for a second. I just knocked over one of my trophies. MVP, most valuable player. I'm going to text you a picture of my dick. If you can, get me one of them pussy pictures. And put your finger on each side of it. Or just put a 4 down there for number 4. That's my number.
Please leave a message at the tone.
Hey, it's Brett. If anybody's ready to party, let me know. I want to meet you over here. I'm going to send you 2 pictures of my asshole. Try to guess which one was before I shit, alright? Call me back. You got my digits. Hey, thought I might want to come over here and chill and watch me come in a shot glass. Bottoms up, right? How come you never call me back, girl? Number 4. I'm a Hall of Fame man. Brett Favre.
Brett Favre and his friend Chris giggling. Chris would never make a good cameraman on the television show.
No, because then he'd be laughing and then the camera would be shaking.
Brett Favre, number 4. We got to play that thing later too. When Chris was acting, I think the thing that was cracking us up was Chris was acting.
Yeah, it's not even so much like it was.
He did nothing wrong,
bad or anything.
Yeah.
It's just like he was just talking different from himself, and that was funny to us.
I know that was the only part of it. That we're like, look at Chris. He's pretending he's someone else. I don't know why that was hilarious, but it was.
And he put on a different voice that was a little bit more upbeat than we were used to hearing, and we didn't really know why.
That's a good point, because the fact is, when the shirts do come in, Chris A forgets to tell us, and B mumbles it.
Right.
So to hear him going, "Hey guys, the shirts are here.
Hey everybody,
Boo, Chris Stanley." And that just had us fucking cracking up because Chris is the funniest fucking guy when he doesn't mean to be.
I know.
Angry Chris is funnier than most people doing stand up.
Oh my God. Angry Chris gets me really, really silly.
It's just frustrating.
And Jen is like me. She's like a nervous laugher too. So if Chris gets angry, she's like sitting there covering her mouth.
I was fucking furious.
All right, hold on. The new charity auction starts today, the Why Hunger one. We just had the guy who won last year.
Oh, God.
And today. It runs now, yesterday. It runs now through December 13th. That just popped up.
So get on it. Hopefully you'll get in before a year from now.
Dude, let's fucking get the new person in as quickly as we can and get that out of the way.
We will.
Why would I believe you? You took 9 months with that poor
man. I know,
man.
you made him wait so long.
I felt terrible about Dave and his long trek to get here.
Would you start calling him Dave?
Yeah, that's weird. I thought we were calling him David.
David. I feel like we got closer after
why don't you start and call him Davy Mac? You weren't even in the same room with him.
No.
By the way, before the show, you were telling me that you're well. You sound worse than yesterday.
I think I'm more congested, but I'm less coffee, so I feel like I'm less contagious. That's why I'm saying I feel better. So I'm sick, but I don't think I'm getting any.
Why don't you stay home when you're sick? Oh, the Allison Janney thing. That was your big deal.
Yeah.
He couldn't stop talking about it.
Do you have
you seen the movie yet?
I saw the end of the movie.
Saw the end of the movie. Why?
Did you not know the story it was based on?
So
I mean, I think we all knew the end.
We only get so many views of these screeners, so I had to take my shot. I just wanted to watch the end, just so I know, I want to see how they wrap it up.
You're not even talking. That doesn't even make sense.
It doesn't. It truly doesn't.
Finest hour. I wonder if REM will want me to sing with them today.
I hope so.
What's your favorite all-time REM song, Chris?
Radio Free Europe.
Oh, that's a fucking
Their
great
first
one.
big single.
I mean, it's so
first
good.
track off the first album, right?
Yeah. Great first fucking album.
You know what I was thinking about?
Stunning first album, as a matter of fact. Stunned the music world.
I love, what is the album where it's like a live album that they did, I would say maybe like late 90s, but there's a track where they're performing live and they do Time After Time into South Central Rain as like one long piece.
Time After Time, the Cyndi Lauper song?
No, they have a song called Time After Time After Time.
Time After Time.
You don't know that song? No.
Through the window.
But they do that into South Central Rain, and it's like maybe one of the best live tracks ever.
They're great. They're a fucking great band. Everything about them is fantastic. It's more than fantastic. It's quacktastic.
That's quacktastic.
That's coming up later on today, as well as Ronnie Spector and the Ronettes. But the Ronettes won't be here, but Jen and Gail might have to be the Ronettes.
Happily. We've been working on some background dancer moves. I always wanted to be a background dancer.
I think the name Ronnie is better as a girl's name than as a guy's name.
It is really cute as a girl's name.
Stupid as a guy's name.
No, it's good.
It sounds like I'm trying to be Ronnie Spector all the time. And then Allison Janney, the end of her movie, just spectacular. It's got all the critics a buzzing. Boom, boom, boom. I find that thing, Chris, with you, just how fucking stupid and silly we got. It may not be even funny. Hey, somebody, look at the bootleg Bennington shirts that's out already.
Is that just a drawn Bennington shirt?
No, it's bootleg.
There's already bootlegs.
That's pretty cool. And look, they put my fake skinny legs in there. They just took my, because I think that was a waist up picture.
Yeah, and then they just drew legs.
Yeah, they drew in 2 fucking strings, I think. What are you gonna do, right, guys? Fucking rock and roll. Rock and roll. Andy in Atlanta has an REM sighting. Andy.
Yeah, I saw REM in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, when I was in college in 1984. And back then, their whole trip was that the lyrics were not to be known because it was sort of a mistake, and they wouldn't reveal the exact lyrics. And Michael Stipe performed most of the show with his back to the audience because back then he was so into it, he would not even let anybody see his lips move when he was singing a lot of these lyrics. He wanted to keep a secret.
He was very mysterious, so because he kind of slurred and they never put lyrics in, people used to fight all the time
about what
the lyrics were, and then Michael would say, I really don't remember. It's been a while since I recorded it. And that would frustrate. But the fact that Eddie said he saw him in college is interesting because that was ground zero, the start of college rock.
Yeah.
And, after that, you start to hear, Husker Du or the Replacements or whatever. And there was, before anyone called it an alternative scene.
Yeah. And it was all born out of that Athens scene. And they were kind of the jump off, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, they were the Beatles of it.
And I had so much fun going through that scene too. Like
it's great.
Them and everyone in that scene was so good.
Favorite tune, Seven Chinese Brothers.
Great song, man. Great fucking song. Thanks, dude.
Right,
peace. I remember when they did Letterman, they did 2 songs back to back, and Stipe sat down and didn't kind of talk to it, like sat on the drum riser or something, when Peter Buck was talking with Letterman, he just sat there and kind of looked off. Like it was a weird album cover or something, but it had everybody talking. And they're like, this is a song we don't have a name for. And it was fucking South Central Rain. And I remember just sitting there going, fuck. Everything, this fucking band is so great.
There's something about the chord changes in that song that is just so heartbreaking.
Yeah, it's heartbreaking, man. It is.
And the backing vocals, like the ooze in the background as he sings, it's just such a good song.
It's fucking great. And they have song after song. It's mind-boggling. They've got to have at least 40 to 50 songs that I go, oh, I fucking love this song. And it's always that thing where you get into what's your favorite band? I said this about Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers too. No one ever says that's my favorite band, and you're like, oh wait, maybe it is. Now I've been listening for a couple of days, maybe it is. You sent in this story, Gail, about the dad petitioning his kid's school mascot to be changed.
Yeah, so this is a dad in Utah.
Of course.
And his kid's school has a new mascot, which is the Phoenix. And he is petitioning to get it changed because when you pluralize it, it sounds like penises. So he is upset because they're the fighting phoenixes, and he thinks that people are going to think they're saying penises. And I guess they're just as prude as can be over there in Utah.
But here's the thing. Why don't you try to get the city of Arizona changed then? Does that sound too much like penis to you? Should we not say the Phoenix Cardinals? Everyone's like, oh my God.
Oh my God, the penis Cardinals? That's disgusting. Why are they talking about a Cardinal's penis?
This guy is fucking insane.
I'm going to be honest. For some reason, I thought that the plural of Phoenix was Phoenix.
I thought it was
I just thought you could just say, there are many Phoenix.
Well, the thing is, no one ever talks about there being more than one Phoenix.
Yeah, because there's not a flock of them.
No.
You just got the one.
First of all, it's a fake fucking thing. Unlike the penis, which is real.
I thought there would have been the Phenai. It's multiple Phoenixes would have been the Phenai.
You never really thought about it, though, until the second.
No, I haven't.
But I think just saying the mighty the mighty phoenixes, the mighty penises. That sounds still pretty tough.
You know what? Here's the thing. Change it. I don't care.
What do you think? What do you think the worst sports team name is?
Well, we played a team called the Nads, and their cheerleaders like, "Go Nads, go Nads, go Nads." I hate all bird things because the eagle and hawk. Okay.
You need a bird of prey, is what you're saying.
Thank you, a bird of prey. You can't be a cardinal or a dove.
Right.
Or a gamecock. That's just ridiculous.
Why?
I don't know what a gamecock is.
Well, look it up, bro. Look it up. You might sound that it's a little more vicious before you go changing it. You're like Phoenix, Dad. It sounds like a cock, like a boy's cock penis.
When I was in middle school, one of the schools we used to play, like a rival school, their mascot was just called the Green Wave because there was a big green hill behind their school.
Cool.
And I was like, that's like the coolest name I've ever heard.
Yeah, I know.
The Green Wave. And then everyone was like, oh, we're the Patriots, I guess.
We, because I was in Pennsylvania, we played a team called the Amish. And they actually had wooden helmets. I mean, they were really just locked into their character. They were amazing that way.
Take it too far.
And I mean, we beat them easy, but they had cantaloupe that was out of this world. Just really great organic cantaloupe.
I never liked the name Magic, Orlando Magic. I always just thought it's just like not tough enough.
Well, because, Magic Kingdom. That's why they do it.
I know, it's just like...
I mean, magicians would be cool, but magic is dumb. It's just fucking dumb. And if you want to be honest about it, the Celtics is a dumb name, too.
Not good. I'll say another one I'm not happy to share, but I don't think the Phillies is a good name. Just Philadelphia Phillies?
Well, you know what? I'm so used to it that I don't fucking think about it at all. But the weird thing is no one ever says, anyone like, where are you from? No one ever says, oh, I'm a Philly.
I'm a Philly. No,
Yeah.
That's the really strange part of it.
Knicks is a stupid name. 76ers is a dumb name.
Don't like it.
Dumb fucking name. Chicago Cubs is embarrassing. Pittsburgh Pirates, like it.
Oh, what
Alliteration.
about Utah Jazz? We're Jazz.
They used to be in the New Orleans Jazz, which I guess made some sense, but there is no such thing as Utah Jazz.
The worst kind of jazz there is. Give me some of that good old time Utah Jazz.
Kevin in South Carolina.
Hey, I think that the penis would make a wonderful mascot. You think about it, it's one of the most hated and most loved things that we have, and it's also one of the scariest and most fun things that we have.
It's very feared, you're right.
It is feared. Particularly these days, a white penis is the scariest thing we could have.
It's the worst.
I just think any organ on the outside of the body is kind of frightening. It's not supposed to be out there.
You're so exposed.
If any of your other organs was hanging out, like if your liver was just hanging down, I was like, you're very sick. We're going to have to help you. Matt, Strong Island, buddy.
Hey, guys, on Long Island here, we have the East Rockaway Rock and the Island Park Trees.
The trees.
So the trees play the rock.
It's really sad.
The trees play the rock. It sounds like a fucking really weird song that Rush would do.
Well, paper beats rock, so I feel like that means trees would win.
You know what beats anything in that though? Bullet.
True.
That's how I play.
You're cheating.
Sean, what's up?
Hey, Ronnie B. The Buffalo Bills, the name of their mascot isn't even what's on the helmet. It's the damn name of the city.
Yeah, and it doesn't make sense because, Buffalo Bill was already a nickname.
I guess I never really thought about that.
It's all I think
Bill
about.
is like their mascot is just Bill.
Guy named Bill. Yee-hoo! And it's not even like they're out west. Like
No.
Buffalo Bill had nothing to do with Buffalo.
Stinks.
It stinks bad.
always thought the Cornhuskers sucks because it's just a fucking ear of corn.
Yeah, but they're husking it. Like, that's their job, to husk corn.
Yeah.
Now, here's the one thing I do like about it. At least it's from their part of the world. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where I just said there was no Pirates in Pittsburgh ever.
Right.
You know? Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I don't know anybody who said Buccaneer.
Mm-mm.
It's
Actually, when the Cornhuskers would yell out, it's a Buccaneer. And that's how they would sell their freshly husked corn. Bob, Best, Virginia.
What is happening, Ronnie and crew?
Yeah.
Hey, real quick, did you know Johnny Kruk was opening a Philly cheesesteak store in Clearwater?
No, I did not know that.
He's already got two, one in Naples and one in Fort Myers.
Well, I'll have to get Fezzy to go over and eat one for me and tell me how it is.
In West Virginia, there's a team. The town is Poca, P-O-C-A.
Yeah.
The town is Polka Dots.
That's kind of funny.
Polka dots?
I went to a place
Adorable.
called Micro that had the micro dots still, and they were so much fun.
What about the micro phoenixes?
Sad when that happens. Shouldn't taunt someone, because that's like dwarfism of the cock. Ryan, Panic in Detroit.
Hey, how you doing today?
I don't know.
You know, one of the farm league for Detroit Tigers happens to be the Tweedle Mud Hens.
Oh, one of the most famous minor league teams of all time.
You got it.
Yeah.
I mean, but the Mud Hen, it's a worthless bird, no longer around.
I know, but I do like the idea of something that's so bizarre like that. Like, people will wear Mud Hen fucking shirts that have never been there. Paul in Cleveland.
Terrible team, terrible name, Cleveland Browns.
It is a strange name, and it was named after the owner. It would be like me having a team called the Philadelphia Benningtons. Lois.
Browns is not good.
Yeah. Lois, we got you, buddy? Lost you. Peter in Toronto.
Yeah, I got to say the Mighty Ducks is got to be the worst hockey team name out there.
They went and named their team after the stupid movie.
Yeah, and the point was that they had terrible name, and then they had to kind of go oh, we'll get into it.
But you know who owns that hockey team? Disney. So they just turned around and said, "We already own the product. Let's go." Rick.
Hey, Ronnie, how's it going?
Great.
I don't know how to feel about this one. It's a new team here in Savannah. It's called the Savannah Bananas, minor league baseball team.
I've never heard that before, but I find it to be hilarious. That's the fucking best team I've ever heard of. There's a video up on the iBank today that just scared the shit out of me, and that's the backflipping robot. I mean, what are we fucking doing? Are we setting up for the destruction of humanity?
This is Boston Dynamics, and they're the ones.
Them.
They're the ones. Remember, a while back, they showed theirs that it was almost like it almost looked like a dog the way it moved. So this is their new one, and it's even more advanced than it was not too long ago. So they've added a bunch of things, and the speed in which it moves, the way it can balance. It jumps and then it fucking backflips. And it is really, really scary looking. It's just totally terrifying.
I mean, this is Terminator shit.
Yeah, that looks like the...
Holy shit.
You didn't see this, Chris?
No.
It's really scary.
Look at the way it moves.
No.
Watch this.
Now imagine it's chasing you.
Yeah. That's what it's doing now, but wait till that's... Ooh.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
Look at how
now
proud it is.
Imagine that
of
landing
itself.
on your children and eating them. Because that's what's going to happen.
And it it has its own battery pack now. Before, it was attached to the ceiling.
You are correct.
Yeah.
You're
That's
correct.
fucking terrifying.
Yeah. But then when you see it jumping like that, now you can imagine it with even more power. You can imagine it doing that between buildings or something.
Yeah.
You can imagine it jumping stories brrr,
Let me just say this. I'm ecstatic I won't be here for the future. I don't want to be in the future. The future fucking sucks, and it's a nightmare.
And it's just going to keep getting creepier and creepier.
This is fun, though. Another video up on the iBang. A bear hits himself in the balls with a water hose.
No, when I first saw the title of this, I thought, I'm not going to find this funny. But you know what? It is. It really
funny.
is.
And it looks like it has a way of dealing once it gets hit in the balls. Like,
Right.
watch what it... So there it is. This is all. It's so thirsty, it's trying to suck water out of a hose.
It's just fucking this guy's water hose up so bad. So he's pulling it out.
Fucking bear's hilarious.
If it gets loose.
It hits him in the balls. And now watch what happens when it goes down. It's spreading its legs. His balls are killing him.
And then he lays on his side and just starts, like, he gets into the fetal position and is just kicking his leg. Ow.
Oh, no. I promise you, if I kick Chris Stanley in the balls right now, this is exactly how he would act.
When it, like, took him a few seconds to realize the pain, like, he started to just walk it off and then just the legs went straight.
He went down. Poor bastard bear.
Why was that like the first like slapstick? Like that's like the thing that for some reason is still like funny to little kids the way it would be now to like what is it about getting hit in the balls that people are like, ah?
Well, I think we laugh at what we're most afraid of. And it's such a fear that we laugh.
Right.
We laugh that it happens because it could always happen.
It could at any point.
Yeah. And, like, that's why, like, people, like, slapstick was funny, like, back in the 1800s and shit, because if you fall and broke a bone, it could go through your skin and you would get gangrene.
And then you would die. So they're like,
I don't think you're going to make it.
Joke's on you.
Hey, let's go to Steve, South Carolina. Steve, we got you. Then on to Aaron in Michigan. Aaron.
Hey, we got a high school up here in the boonies, Watersmeet, Michigan. Their high school mascot is the Nimrods.
Great, man. That's fantastic. Rob in Georgia.
Yeah, there's a team, hockey team in Macon, Georgia called the Macon Whoopie.
No, come on.
We're making whoopee. Good. Have some fucking... These things have now become alternative 90s bands. That's where sports teams are.
What does their logo look like, I wonder?
Just a bear mountain of water thing and pounding it. That sounds like sexual harassment, and I'm going to go straight to HR. The almost famous Bennington t-shirts are out there. And here's the spokesmodel, our own Vito.
Go to BenningtonShow.com to get your almost famous, almost Bennington t-shirt and give it to somebody for a nice holiday, and they'll really appreciate it.
A nice holiday. Not one of the worst ones. One of the good ones.
Seriously, I heard from somebody that Vito was so good at this, and he's just terrible. Go plug where it goes, Vito, instead of just saying it'll be a nice holiday.
BenningtonShow.com, or you could go to the Bennington Show Twitter, where it's a pinned tweet at the top of the page.
Please, I really can't with him.
I love it. I love how down home he is.
Where it is a pin tweet at the top of the page.
You should just be sitting next to a pickle barrel while you're doing this. One thing I like is that good old Bennington t-shirt. Sometimes I'll wipe the toilet off. I call it the Bennington p-shirt. Hey, it's your old pal, Vito Calisi.
Oh, God. He's coughing like crazy. That quarantine room is
maybe that'll teach you not to make out with Chris.
It just tastes so good.
Oh, God.
Nasty.
Go ahead, plug it one time before I move on.
BenningtonShow.com to get your t-shirt, or go to Bennington Show on Twitter, and you're going to have a great time buying this t-shirt.
As you're buying it, you're going to have fun?
You're going to be all smiles while you're adding it to that cart and you're checking out. It's going to be great. The checkout process is fantastic.
I swear to God, I was told that he was so good at this. I just said, we'll see. I'm going to give him rope. Watch how quickly he hangs himself.
I am happy that he got his own headphones now.
Yeah. Oh, is that your sweet headphones?
Yeah, I had somebody bring them over to me.
Who's someone?
I had
the somebody.
I had Anthony bring them over to me.
Is it the somebody?
Anthony, how come he wasn't at our big gig?
He told me he goes to sleep at 8 p.m. most nights.
Smart. He's a morning boy. Morning boy, it fucks up your life. You know, I know he's got a long commute. He's got to come in almost 18 minutes. It takes 18 minutes to get from Jersey to here. It's so fucking hard. All right. Someone fancy framed their Bennington poster. Oh, that's sweet. All right. So I just want to say that the day that we cut the Almost Famous scene, Chris Stanley had one line, but it was to start us out. And for some reason, and I'll take full blame, every time he did it, I laughed. And I'm not an easy fucking laugh.
No.
You know what I mean? I'm not a guy who likes to laugh. I don't like it at all. It makes me feel a little out of control. You know? I feel like, my body is shaking back and forth. So it's a legitimate laugh, unlike Chris's fake laugh that he does to get love. He laughed all over the Brett Favre bit. Why would somebody have their friend laughing while they were calling a girl?
I don't know, maybe they were both, hanging out, and he was like, "Hey, check this shit out."
Did that happen?
I don't think so. No.
So you're lying to me.
Yes.
So this is the Allison Janney of Astoria. Everybody's talking about, Chris maybe getting an Oscar nod. This is Chris and the Almost Bennington sketch.
Everybody, your first T-shirts have arrived.
Oh, come on, man. Be Chris Stanley.
Just be like Chris.
Everybody, your first T-shirts have arrived.
You don't want to do this?
Yes, I do. Hey, everybody, your first T-shirts have arrived.
Imagine, look, don't look at the script and just imagine, we just got the T-shirts, but you have to say that same sentence. Just pretend, think about holding the actual T-shirts and you're talking to us.
Okay. Everybody, the first T-shirts have arrived.
It's closer, I guess.
It's closer, but be yourself.
I am. That's me.
No, it isn't.
Hey, everybody, the T-shirts have arrived.
It's worse.
Let's just...
All right, just try it closer to the second to last, I guess.
Hey, everybody, the first T-shirt, your first T-shirt. All right, got it.
You're never going to make it in the booth.
Oh, God, that was great to me. Hey, everybody. He wouldn't give up. He'd come right back in with the next read. Everyone, go T-shirts are here. Macon, Georgia, home of Macon Whoopee, the hockey team. Who's coming in first today, Chris? Is it Ronnie Spector?
It is Ronnie Spector.
Good. So the answer would have just been yes.
Yes.
Bum, bum. They say that, and this is sad news, Charlie Manson at death's door at the same time where Quentin Tarantino is doing his first non-Harvey Weinstein. It's open to everybody.
Yeah.
They said everybody but Disney is interested.
Wow.
In doing this Tarantino.
Who do you think will get it?
I couldn't even tell you.
Yeah.
I don't even know what's happening. I don't know if anybody's even considered cool anymore in Hollywood. I know I already talked to some kids last night who saw the new Justice League and hated it.
I didn't even realize it was coming out this weekend.
Yeah, it's out. It was, I think, it ran last night.
Oh, okay.
Now, what is the Justice League? That's different than the Fantastic Four.
Yeah, it's not the Fantastic Four. It's like Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman.
So it's all
Flash,
the people from the other movies?
The DC movies, yes. There's a DC universe and a Marvel universe. Vito, you're a comic book girl, right?
Yeah, I love the comics.
Now, have you heard anything about this movie?
All I heard is that one friend saw it at midnight who said, it's decent, not as bad as I thought it would be. They did a good job of making it look like the comic is on the screen. That's the only review I've heard. But there's been some suspicious things with this movie where, like, the embargo was held later than usual. Rotten Tomatoes even waited to put up reviews, so it doesn't look very promising.
Rotten Tomatoes is crushing it right now, saying it stinks.
Really?
And they held off on putting up reviews, which they usually don't do.
And what, like, who makes that call? Like, they
The
ask
studio
them-
can say, if you want to see this movie, here's the day it can come out.
Right.
I've had that done before.
Yeah.
When they'll tell me, and I'll go, look, I don't care if I'm not reviewing it anyway, so don't fucking, I never review a movie. I just say, I saw it, stunk. That's different than a review. A review is you put some thought into it.
Boring.
Boring. Some of those like little screening rooms, because it's all fucking critics. That's tough, like a tough room anyway. Like I've seen comedies in that, and I've been the only one laughing because they're like they've seen too many movies. They're just in fucking pain from movies. You got something for me, Don?
I do.
What is it?
Live read.
Oh. I love to read live, and I'll tell you why. I love the way you get to talk about that. It's the same way I would be talking, same topic, and the same way I would be talking about this.
At Dish, they believe in the power of listening. They believe in it so much that Dish is the first TV provider to partner with another great listener, Amazon Alexa. Now with Dish, you can use Amazon Alexa to control your Hopper DVR using just your voice.
With Dish and Amazon Alexa, you can do things like find your favorite show, search for family movies, or find your team's game. In an instant, tell Alexa to pause, resume, and rewind live TV and recordings without having to touch your remote. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the new way to watch TV, hands-free, with Dish and Amazon Alexa. Dish tuned in to you.
To learn more, call 1-844-CALL-DISH, go to dish.com, or visit a local retailer near you. Requires internet-connected Hopper or Wally and Amazon Echo, Echo Dot, or Amazon Tap. Other restrictions apply. For full details, 1-844-CALL-DISH. Dish tuned in to you. The amazing Ronnie Spector is in studio with us.
Hey, guys, what's up?
Ronnie Spector and the Ronettes are touring their best Christmas party ever. The tour begins November 30th at the Strand Theater in Lakewood, New Jersey, and ends at City Winery in New York City, December 20th and 21st. Go to RonnieSpector.com for all additional dates.
Yes. Nobody loves Christmas more than Ronnie does.
I love Christmas so much, guys. Since I was like 5 years old, sitting on Santa's lap at Macy's. Yeah. That was the thrill of my life. I've loved Santa ever since then. It's like, I'm addicted to Santa. I can't help it. It's like, in September.
You're already starting.
Right after August. September. Where's Christmas is coming? September, December. You know what I mean? That September, December thing?
Yeah.
So I am all for Christmas.
Now, you've been having such great tours over the last couple of years as it is.
Glastonbury with Adele, and it's been amazing because it seems to me like the crowds are even bigger than when I was with the original Ronettes.
Yeah.
You know, when we had Be My Baby, all the hits out, because I think people now want to see what made it so special or great from the 60s. I think that's why I have a lot of young crowds coming to my shows, because they want to see what was that like back then, because they weren't even born.
Right, exactly.
You know, so they come to see my shows and they go crazy. And I love it, because if someone had told me, Ronnie Spector, in 50 years, you're going to have a bigger crowd than you had in the 60s.
Right.
I was like, out of your mind. You crazy? And here it is. You know?
Even at the time, were you even aware that this kind of music would have much of a shelf life, that it would last long? No.
I don't think any of us had an idea back then. You know, the Motowns, all the groups back then, the Shirelles, all the girl groups. I don't think any of us thought that today, I mean, I just did a show with the Drifters, the Shirelles, and I love that because it brings you back to where you were, and it makes me have so much fun. As a matter of fact, I have two Ronettes on stage with me, and when we were in Glastonbury, I looked over at them, and we were having so much fun. I said, I'm going to call them the Ronettes. What the hell? You know?
You might as
all
well,
my records on the Ronettes, so it's still Ronnie Spector, but and the Ronettes, and they've learned all the Ronettes routines through videos and stuff. And the show is amazing because we have videos of the original Ronettes, Then you have the pretend Ronettes right on stage, but they do the same routine as the old Ronettes. So, and I tell stories about, the Beatles, Brian Wilson, all the Rolling Stones while opening acts, all that stuff I tell, on stage.
Yeah.
So I tell them a story and get up and sing about it.
Yeah.
Most people don't do that, but I sit down, I have my little water there, and I talk, and then I get up and sing about it. I talk about them first. How John and I were sort of lovers, and I didn't go on the Beatles tour because it was an ultimatum, you marry me or go on the Beatles tour, so I was in love at the time and very young and naive, and I said, I'll take love over anything, and I still feel that way.
And you still feel...
Love is everything.
But, your whole life has always felt like, and seemed like a movie to me. I would love to see this from your perspective.
Yeah, it would be from mine. And as a matter of fact, we're in talks now about that.
Yeah.
Really?
Because it's such an amazing story. I mean, I wrote my book like maybe 25 years ago.
Yeah.
But a lot of things happened in between that, prison and this and that and records. So, when people approach me about doing a movie, they said, this has got to be the greatest movie. It
is, yeah.
I started out my life, I was like Angelina Jolie and Brad. I had all these adopted children. Then when I married John, I had biological children. So I had so many kids. At the beginning, when I first got married, I didn't know what to do with 3 kids, and they were all given to me for Christmas. So I love Christmas. How could I say no to real kids?
Yeah.
So it was like a problem right there. I didn't know I had to take them.
But also just that period that you broke, it was such an electric time. It was just an amazing time, and to be riding that wave.
It was the time of, it was Beatles coming. The Beatles hadn't even been to America. They came in February of '64. We were there in January. So the Beatles saw us on Sunday night at the London Palladium. We've got to meet these girls with this long black hair and these whip hips that swing back and forth. So they came to our record company party, and we became friends over there. And the Rolling Stones were our opening act. Eric Clapton and the Yardbirds. So we had all these good-looking guys with a lot of hair, Yeah. So my ex came over there and said, these are too many men.
Yeah.
So that sort of stopped my career, but I didn't know it at the time. I thought I was... And I did do a solo record with Apple Records. They flew me to London. I was on Apple Records. I did a song with George Harrison that he produced. He was right there. It was called Try Some, Buy Some. I looked over at George. I said, George, what am I trying to buy? What am I trying? What am I trying? What am I buying? Drugs? What? I had no idea. But, it was great seeing him again because I'd seen the Beatles, before they became... quote unquote the Beatles,
right?
And when they came to America, of course, John calls me, Ronnie, we're stuck up here, we're like prisoners. What are we gonna do? I said, follow me, boys, up to Harlem. You won't have a problem up there. Yeah. So they came up to Harlem, and we had a great time. They could play the jukebox. Nobody came over asking for autographs. And they loved that because when they got here, they didn't even expect all of that.
Right.
Beatlemania and all that stuff. Murray Kay coming, Ronnie, you got to get me upstairs to meet the Beatles. It was like Beatlemania. It really was.
Yeah.
But it was great, and I loved it. Somebody pushed my seat in a bit. I'm tiny. And it was just wonderful times, and I had so much fun, and that's what it was all about back then.
Yeah.
And it was like, you have a hit record on the radio, stuff like that. Today, I don't know. It's like everybody tries to talk too much and be on TV, and
there's so much stuff out there, but it was filtered through so everybody caught on at the same time.
That's true.
And that's the thing of like a record like Be My Baby, and we were talking about this. It's still sounds as fresh as it did when it came out.
And that's the positive thing, too, I would say, on the flip side of that, is that we have so much access to things now.
Yeah, right.
So now young people are able to see what a great time period for music that was, how incredible the
and that's when they come.
And that's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing that they come to see the shows and know to see what it was like back then.
Yeah.
And that's what blows my mind, to see these 18-year-olds and 21-year-olds just to see. Because I do, Amy Winehouse got her look from me.
Yes.
And all the kids come and run at hairstyles with the beehives and stuff at my shows. And some come as Amy. They want to take pictures of me because there's a video with Amy Winehouse where she's at a record store and she points to the Ronettes album and she said, I want to look like her, meaning me because I had the long hair and the big bouffant. And it's a real live video of her in a record store saying, I want to look like Ronnie. So here it was years later, there she is, Amy Winehouse. And then she died and I was devastated. I was really, that's the first since John Lennon and George Harrison that I really, got really like sad because about a year before that, we had done the Lincoln Center and she died 2 weeks before that. And it was a lot of girl groups, the Shirelles, the Chantels, and Amy Winehouse loved girl groups. So I dedicated the whole night to Amy Winehouse. And it was like, I don't know how many thousands of people there at the Lincoln Center all sitting down, and I sang Back to Black, and then everybody had tears in their eyes, including me. Yeah. So it was one of those things, and I feel great that people call me a pioneer, yay, because we started things that other people, and I feel sorry for some of the groups that were in the 60s that don't get any kind of recognition today. Right. And it's because everything is so crowded and cluttered with hip hop, rap, pop culture. Yeah. It's like going crazy. I'm saying, what am I? What am I? Pop? Am I pop culture? You don't know anymore. In the 60s, you knew what R&B was. You knew what pop was. Yeah. You knew what Motown was, and you knew the groups' names. Today, I can't remember groups' names because they come and go so fast. Right. I mean, who doesn't remember the Temptations, Gladys Knight and her Pips? I mean, you gotta think back, and that's what I think the kids today are doing, wanting to see what it was really like. Because today everything is choreography and dancers and bells going off. I mean, smoke. It's like nuts. I want to see the performer. Right. And that's what I sort of give the people today. I give them a performance. I never lip sync, ever. Yeah. I did a show a couple of nights ago for Alcone Cosmetics. They've been doing my makeup for 20 years. And what was I going to say? About lip syncing. Yeah. I went on stage and I did a TV track, but me and my two Ronettes, we sang live. Right. Because how can you sing to a record and that's you in the background? Yeah. So I just sang it myself, and people love that because they're getting all of you. Today you got dancers. They're looking at everything, It's so much to see, and they don't notice it. That person is not good. Right, in the 60s, you knew they were you're good or not good.
The Ronettes, were you guys dressing yourself? That was your own personal style, and that was your own personal
got
dance
it from
muse?
The streets of Spanish Harlem with the Spanish girls with the high teased hair.
I think that's why it worked too, man, is because it was so real.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
So
it was so real.
Yeah, got it from the streets.
Yeah.
And even my sister was dating, and she's dead now, but I only have one niece, and she's half Chinese. And I met her sister, and she had the slits up the side. Good idea. We put slits because we sang and danced. We were the only girl group that sang and danced. So I did an interview the other day, and they had a tape of Murray Decay saying, we're not my dancing girls. Now they have their own hit record. Ladies and gentlemen, the Ronettes with Be My Baby. And it was really Murray Decay. I was like, I was freaking out. I did a phone interview. I was freaking out because that's really Murray from 50 years ago.
Wow. So you guys were dancing first. Yeah. Just dancing to the music and jukebox. No,
we'd sing like What I Say, upbeat songs, Turn on Your Love Lights, tell the guys to turn on their love light. We didn't know what that meant, but that's what we were singing, songs to make us dance. Right. What I Say, tell me what I say, Ray Charles. Yeah. And we did songs like that until we had our hit records. So we were singers and dancers.
That's so, like I said, that's the realness.
And you know what else? We'd go out one at a time. See, my sister was the slowest dancer, so she'd go out with Ned and I was standing in the back, doing this. And my sister would go out first, and then she'd back up into me. Then Nedra would go out there and do her thing, and then I would. We never had a choreographer at the Ronettes. Right. We did every dance, from the monkey, the jerk, the twist, of course. Right. So all those dances, we did those. As a matter of fact, when we went to England, first thing the Beatles said, because they saw us dancing on TV, teach us the American dances, the jerk, the twist. I said, I don't know everything now, guys, How did James Brown do this? Or I don't even know James. We had done a show once, but all those things they were asking us because they wanted to get to America. It's amazing. And we wanted to get to London.
Right.
So, we were like the first girl group over in London, and they were the first English group in America. So it was like we had a connection for years and years and years.
What was it like for you to tour the rest of America, though? Because America was a lot different than New York and specifically Spanish Harlem at the time. Was that strange to go down south or to the Midwest?
We never did much of the South tours. We did like Dick Clark Caravan of Stars tours.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, that was in 63, and that was when JFK, we were doing a show in Texas. I'll never forget November 22nd. And I go down to the lobby of the hotel and I see people fainting, people crying. I'm saying, what's going on? JFK had just gotten shot.
Oh my God.
Dick Clark comes over to me in the lobby. He said, Ronnie, we're going to cancel the whole tour. He said, nobody's coming to the shows. They're not buying tickets. So we had to cancel the whole tour. We did maybe 5 dates with the whole tour on a Greyhound bus. We had 2 Greyhound buses. Back then it was great. And it was just, everything was authentic and great back then. And nothing was, you didn't have to have a choreographer. You didn't have to have a person does your makeup and your hair, all that with you. An entourage of that. We didn't have any of that.
Gail, this
just my mother.
Yeah, this is why I say this is a movie. Her life literally is a motion picture. That she's in Dallas.
I know. I mean,
wasn't that something?
Because before that, even if you just think about you going to London for the first, that in itself is a story.
Yeah, I know.
Just a drop.
It was like, wow, you know, when they told us you're going to the, you're going to be in England, in London.
Yeah.
And what was strange about that? This is before Beatles got to America. We had kids at the airport. We'd never seen that in America.
Right.
So to go all the way to England, first of all, that was just like wow in itself. But to go over and have kids and not like the Beatles had, but to have kids at the airport, it was like, what? And because they advertise you're coming and everything. But to have kids actually at the airport, Heathrow, I was like in shock.
And you're really like the same age as those kids that are showing up. You're just a kid yourself, right?
Oh, totally. But that's what was so much fun. You didn't think about money, who wrote this, who published it.
Yeah.
And then when you got older, I used to drive and they would have a limousine to take us to the Gold Star Studios to record. Because I lived in New York with the Ronettes. And when we get over there, I'd look at all these houses. And I'd ask the driver, who owns that? That's a beautiful manicured lawns. Oh, the guy that published your record. What? I'm still living in Spanish Harlem in a tenement, and the guy that published your record, that's his house. So all of those, what? Moments came about too when I was in California.
Well, could you just picture too, like she's landing in L.A. in the 60s, in the early 60s, before, the pollution, before all that, when it's just like kids surfing and the Beach Boys records are just coming out.
Oh.
I am telling you.
Brian Wilson, I got to tell you a short story when you mentioned the Beach Boys. He loved Be My Baby. He played it 100 times a day. And he told me this in person. I'm doing Baby I Love You because that was the follow-up to Be My Baby. Brian came down to Gold Star Studios when I was recording, looking through a glass mirror because you can't get in with the red light on.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like begging me. So next day he had written Don't Worry Baby, which I thought was the greatest follow-up to Be My Baby.
Yeah.
Don't Worry Baby because you're Be My Baby. It was just a perfect song for me, which Brian had written for me. I couldn't record it though because the people that were recording me and writing for me didn't write that song.
Right.
And that's the only reason I couldn't record it. So it was like, really, like, what?
They didn't want another genius hanging around.
Right.
You.
There's only one genius in those days, honey.
Again, another unbelievable scene for a movie. There's one after another after another.
It is. And I'm thankful that I'm here today to talk about those stories.
Yeah.
And reach back to the groups that never really made money, that really never got the recognition, and they are the pioneers of rock and roll. And I go on these tours. I was on a ship with the Drifters. Even Frankie Valli was on the ship singing.
Yeah.
So we have all these people from the 60s, the Shirelles, the Crystals, and it was great. I loved it. I loved every minute of it because they got a chance to sit in the audience. Because after they go on, then there's an intermission. Then I come on, so all the groups can see me.
Were you guys competitive with each other in those days?
No, that's what was so great. We just had fun, and we were so shocked that our records were on the radio.
Right.
You know, you were a star. You know, you didn't have a competition today. I should have been born a decade or two sooner.
Yeah, is that right?
Yeah, but I don't care. I love my life now. I love that I'm still out there singing. I love that the audiences are there for me and they got my back. I love the gay crowds. I did in San Francisco this summer, Gay Pride Day. It was a bitch. It was so fucking great. It was like, wow. You know, people should come and see that, then they'll know you can be anything you want in America.
What is it you think that brought the gay audience to you too? Because that wasn't there when you were a kid, right? That's something.
Oh, it was there.
It was always there.
It was there at the beginning of our career because we could only do coffee shops, you know, Cafe Wa, all those places in the village because they didn't serve liquor. So the Ronins could do our little shows. We did, you know, sock hops and bar mitzvahs and all that stuff before we had our hit. Then Murray the K.
I didn't even know that you guys played Cafe Wall. That's pretty amazing.
Cafe Wall. It's another one that's still there, too.
The Gaslight. So that's at the same
and that's
time.
The gay crowd came.
Yeah, and then there's also the folk scene was happening at that same.
Bob Dylan was down there.
This is crazy. Yeah.
Our opening act was Richie Havens.
Wow.
We opened for him.
Yeah.
So we go way back. Jimi Hendrix used to play at this place called Undine's on 59th Street. And after shows, me and the Runners, we would go there. And Bob Dylan was there, all the hip people, you know, and I'd get up and sing with Jimmy because Jimmy would play something on his guitar and I'd sing it with my voice. So we became instant friends. So every night we'd go down there and I'd jump up on stage and sing and stuff.
You had no fear as a kid. You were just...
No, you know why? Because I had such a big family. My mom had 6 sisters and 7 brothers. And I had like 23 first cousins. Every Sunday I went to my grandmother's house. They had the coffee table set up for me. I'd get up on the coffee table at 5. I had all these people around me, some sitting on the floor, and I'd start jambalaya, coffee, spine, Philly gumbo. I didn't even know what the words meant. But my family, that was the first applause I got.
Right.
So that started it. At 5 years old on, I was like ready for the stage. That's all I could care about. People seeing me. Oh, hi. You know, it's like, and I'm the same way today on stage. I love looking at people and giving him a wink to guy if he's cute.
Work it.
Yeah, I work it, honey. So it's still fun, and I love it, and I just love everything about being on stage.
That's great.
It brings back everything. You don't know what age you are. I'm in my 70s, really? You know, I'm in my 20s, honey, when I'm on stage. You know what I mean? So it's great. I just love everything I'm doing now.
Ronnie Spector and the Ronettes are touring their best Christmas party ever. The tour begins November 30th at the Strand Theater in Lakewood, New Jersey. December 6th at City Winery in Atlanta. December 7th, City Winery in Nashville. December 11th, Paramount Theater in Austin, Texas.
Wow.
With special guest Wanda Jackson.
Beautiful.
And they're going to end up City Winery in New York City, December 20th and 21st. Go to RonnieSpector.com for all her additional dates.
Yeah, because I don't know where I'm playing next. But I have to look, too.
But you're ready to go.
Oh,
anytime.
Are you kidding me? Can't wait.
I've said it before. Ronnie Spector is rock and roll. And,
thanks, Ron.
Just the best. And I'm dying for this movie to get made. I really am. So I hope it all comes together. Thank you so much, darling.
You're welcome. I love you both.
Yeah.
Yay.
Well, have a Merry Christmas.
You too. I love you guys. And Thanksgiving and Hanukkah.
Ronnie Spector. Nothing like her.
No, I'll never get used to seeing Ronnie Spector. The best of the best.
The best of the best.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not only a great artist, but the muse. Springsteen, Billy Joel, Eddie Money, the Ramones, all writing songs about her. Brian Wilson.
Yes.
What can you imagine?
No.
That other people writing songs about you?
I'm definitely going to see her at City Winery this year.
I'm going to see her. She's playing 2 nights.
Yeah.
You know, the thing is, Christmas music gets me a little depressed, but that's me.
It's not my favorite, but
I got to get myself out of that. Stop despising Christmas music.
But every year when I decorate my tree, the first album that I put on is the Phil Spector Christmas album with.
Don't even say his name to me. You say that name and I'll snap his neck like a breadstick.
I always dive and quickly turn it off because the last track of it is like, "Hi, I'm Phil Spector. This is always a special time of year." I'm like, get it off. The album's over.
Always a woman killing weirdo. Al Pacino played me in a very strange movie. It seemed like I was innocent for some reason. David Mamet. What does it say? We get an Eagles channel now? The Philadelphia Eagles?
What?
Or is it the Eagles, the band?
Hotel California, the band.
No, the band.
The band.
I know it's not going to be the team. Now, how is this permanent or?
It's a pop-up channel, not permanent.
Pop-up video. Allison Jennings is going to be on our show soon, and then two of the members of REM, Mike Mills and Michael Stipe, will be here.
Can't believe it. Star-studded.
Star-studded day. Star-studded day as we run into Thanksgiving week. Make sure you don't miss our Thanksgiving show. If you're anything like us, you'll be wearing the Almost Bennington t-shirt.
I'll be wearing mine for sure.
That's available now. Here's Vito from headquarters wants to tell you about it.
Go to BenningtonShow.com to get your Almost Bennington t-shirt, and then do what you want with it. You could wear it yourself, or you could give it to others, and it's an awesome t-shirt.
Who would you give yours to?
My mom. She really loves the t-shirt. She's a big Almost Famous fan.
Ouch, I thought she was an Almost Bennington
fan. Well, I mean,
fan.
she's a big fan of both, and it's the best of both worlds.
Does she want to do Almost Famous trivia against Gail?
I think she wants to do Godfather trivia first.
Okay. Chris Stanley, you up for it?
I'm going to crush Leslie. It's going to be an
embarrassment. Why don't you not grab that mic since you're in the business?
I'm going to crush Leslie. It's going to be an embarrassment.
I don't think that's a nice way to talk.
I feel like
she's
it's
a very nice woman that we all really love.
I'm going to blow her away. Like it's going to be ridiculous.
By the way, I just want to point out where Ronnie Spector and the Ronettes' Best Christmas Party Ever tour that begins November 30th, the Strand Theater in Lakewood, New Jersey. December 3rd, the Suffolk Theater in Riverhead, New York. December 6th, City Winery in Atlanta, GA. December 7th, Nashville, Tennessee, City Winery. December 11th, and this is where I'd love to see her, Paramount Theater in Austin, Texas.
Oh, that's awesome.
With a special guest, Wanda Jackson. And it's not New York City Christmas without Ronnie Spector. City Winery, New York City, on December 20th and the 21st. We are going to be there for that one too. It's going to be a great night.
Man, that show in Austin sounds amazing.
I know.
Her with Wanda Jackson, that's crazy.
I'm going to go there for it. I'm going to go and see every one of these shows.
Oh my God. You're a Band-Aid.
I am a Band-Aid. Mr. Robert Plant is here.
Mr. Jimmy Page. They are here.
Jen was just telling me that there was a Hollywood Reporter thing that all the big actresses got together, and they all said, who would they want to work with? To a woman, they said, who, Jen?
Gary Oldman.
See? Again, legendary week.
Yeah, it was Jessica Chastain and
love her
and Jennifer Lawrence, and they were like debating about, who would they want to work with, and then Jessica Chastain was like, "Oh, I want to work with Gary Oldman because he's like he's like a camouflaging actor." And then Jennifer's like, "No, that's my answer." It was great.
Oh man, take a look at your life and the actresses. I don't think I showed you this. No, I didn't show you this. So John Hood, the guy who made sure that he's friends with Gary Oldman's wife.
Yeah.
And he was the one that said to her, hey, you're serious, stop by the show. Right. They're talking about Gary right now. They love him. She was taking pictures. She sent the pictures to him. There's a picture of you as Gary Oldman comes in and you have this look on your face.
I know, it's just pure shock.
And I'm behind you, and I'm pointing where Gary should be sitting. Like, here, move that over here. But I just see you, and you're turned around like this, and it's just, yeah, it's hilarious. You have a very Santa Claus has come in, and I don't know if he's nice. And then yesterday, of course, you had the kiss.
Gene Simmons, which was like the strangest interaction ever.
What exactly did he do?
I was walking down the hallway. I see that Jen's talking to someone, but I wasn't really paying attention. I see she's talking to a tall person. And as I try to walk by, grabs my hand and starts to twirl me around and go, "This is how we do it." And I look up and I'm like, is that Gene Simmons? Like, that was so strange.
This is how we do it. Now, I saw this last night. Gene Simmons has got a lifetime ban from Fox News. Whoa. That same day they thought he was being a little aggressive with the ladies.
Interesting.
Where we were not offended that he grabbed you like that. We thought, how bizarre.
This is weird.
And then he also said to Vito, as Vito was taking a picture, right, of them, and he says, "How's your band, Mumford and Sons?" Now, you remember, because what the shirt was that Vito was wearing yesterday, right?
Yes, a plaid shirt.
Oh, yeah.
And you guys remember what Chris was wearing yesterday?
Plaid. Oh, no. Chris.
And you're sick. You're wearing a fucking sick
That's
shirt.
really disgusting. And then, Vito, you wonder why you're sick. Like,
Did you
guys are
fucking
breathing.
hang with him?
Yeah, you guys are breathing on each other.
Look, I have to do laundry. I've been busy. So I had to recycle this shirt.
Recycle?
This is
It was
not-
yesterday.
And you're sick. You need that. Those clothes should be burned.
It's a germ
The
rag
way
right
you've
now.
been coughing. And dude, what did you say? You saw him like cough or something right on Vito's face?
Oh, well, they sit back to back from each other, and Vito had to ask him a question. And like their face, they're very, very close to each other. Their faces are almost like touching. And then when they're done talking, Chris like cough. Like, no, he didn't cough. He burped. I believe.
God.
In front of me, I was like, "Oh my god!"
In my face, and I felt the wind hit me.
Oh,
And then
so
Jen said the next day, she was like, "I saw when you got sick." It was when Chris turned and burped in your fucking face.
Oh, you see why we banished you into that room, Chris?
Yeah. And
I know. And that's why I have also, I have a bandana around my face if I
Stay
have to talk.
home, dude. Stay the fuck home. Nobody wants you here. You're too sicky sick.
There's no point in putting that bandit. That room is already fucked. Like, that room is done. Like,
Now, here's the thing where you're laughing. There's other shows that work here.
We've been wiping down every day. I've been wiping down.
your butt.
No, the mics and the buttons.
Ew, he just admitted he doesn't wipe his butt.
I wipe
Sometimes.
You heard it, everyone.
when there's time.
All right, again, they can't talk about anything but themselves.
No, I know. It's true.
All kinds of other topics come up. They sit like this. And then Chris will say, like, that fucking dude's off the chain. Elon Musk, fuck, man. This is how we do it.
It was so strange.
So, yeah, Gene Simmons done.
So what was the act? Did they say exactly what he had done to someone there? Or he just like said something strange to
Everybody is so weirded out by the sexual harassment stuff. And the kind of stuff that he did with you ladies, he's been doing since 75.
Yeah.
Okay? Since this country had a 7 and a foul.
Mm-hmm.
Now everyone's like, oh my God, this will not be tolerated. He stuck his tongue out. And I believe there was a cow's tongue sewn into it. Did it say what he did, Jen?
He exposed his chest and stomach to women in the offices, and he was also walking up to people, touching them, and he even took his book, put it on people's head, and says, "You should be smart enough to read this."
That's not terrible.
Yeah, he's just weird.
Here's the thing. We've gone from sexual harassment to now you can't be an odd duck. You can't make other people uncomfortable.
Dude, I see here. He's accused of bursting into a staff meeting, which is already funny.
Yeah.
Bursting into a staff meeting, unbuttoning his shirt and yelling, "Hey, chicks, sue me."
First of all, that's fucking hilarious.
That's really weird. That's
It's
really
Gene
weird.
Simmons. It's not the IT guy.
He was also apparently making pedophilia jokes, which rubbed people the wrong way.
It's a joke. He wasn't fucking coming in there and grabbing kids.
Look, if he did that, we'd all be against it.
Yeah, I'd be on the sides of the Fox News ladies. They had Roger Ailes got a long fucking run, but
He gets one trip.
and look, you only have so many right wing rock stars. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's him, it's Kid Rock, and then it gets really boring after that.
Yeah, that's-
You're going to be in the country guys.
That's pretty much it.
And they won't even say they're right wing. They'll just say that they support the troops.
They love Jesus and they support the troops.
I love the way Jesus supports all the troops and the flag. They should, holy shit, we should have a poster of Jesus with a big American flag leading the troops. We'll sell a goddamn billion of them. And he's in number 3 car.
Like he's just like holding the flag, like waving it like Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
Yeah. I ran out with Jim Duggan once when he did the flag thing. May have been the most exciting moment of my life.
I like that he's like, no, 2 props, flag and 2x4.
Yeah, he has got both. It was very exciting though when the way that place popped, and we got in the ring. He's just swinging the fucking flag around like it's a weapon.
That giant.
Everyone's chanting USA. I thought my fucking blood pressure was going to explode through the top of my head. It was, what is it about human beings liking you that just makes you feel so good? It's embarrassing. It's the most embarrassing thing. And it's true of every human being who wants to be liked.
Yes. And like to get applause and cheers.
Yes.
And they put their hands together and they said, "Yay!" when I showed up.
And I felt wonderful.
I mean,
hello, my young darlings. I'm here to gossip about Hollywood. There's another thing. Why does everyone like to gossip? Like, if you look at Hollywood, they gossip. If you look at Wall Street, they gossip. If you look at Washington, D.C., they gossip. Everyone gossips.
They like to just get that little secret nugget.
Look, Joan Didion, did you see the documentary on her
No,
yet?
I'm watching it this weekend.
It'll break your heart, though. Be careful.
I know.
Don't go too deep with it. Because it's...
I know. She's had a very sad life. I've read both. I've read Blue Nights and The Year of Magical Thinking, and they're just like, ugh. They just like lay you out. You're messed up for weeks.
Yeah. Well, her husband, Griffin Dunn's uncle, Griffin Dunn's dad was, what's his name? He was the guy that, he was also a Hollywood producer and a writer. If he called with good gossip, the uncle would yell, "Joan, pick up the other line." Every day they wanted to get some juicy gossip. And these were intellectuals.
Right.
And I'm like, what is it about God? And I mean, it's one thing like you hear some gossip, right? And you're like, oh, I got some information. But did you ever see the person of how happy they are to be the one delivering the gossip?
Oh, yeah. The gossip spreader. Because gossip, I'm happy for gossip to stop at me. Like, I'm not like, I get gossip and I enjoy getting it, but I don't go, I can't wait to tell everyone here what I just found out. Like, I kind of enjoy receiving, but I don't enjoy giving.
Well, you know, Chris Stanley.
Yeah.
He burped and the burp wind went right into Vito's face.
Oh my God. Disgusting. Well, I won't tell a soul.
Here's what I can't stand. I can't stand when anyone tells me a story and it takes too long. I wish they would just say, Jerry Lee Lewis raped her.
Right. And so then
Oh
he
my God!
shows up.
Listen to him over there.
I can't.
Yeah, don't
It's,
even look.
you know what? It's even the visual is too much. I'm not going to turn my
Don't
head.
even look. He's doing it on purpose now.
Chris, you remember like yesterday I had to throw my headphones off and hop up.
Don't look.
I remember.
Just
Come on. Why would he try to talk?
because he wants to make it about him. I was doing a whole fucking interesting thing. He had nothing for. And then he's like, this is my old shirt. Look, is this a jizz stain next to the fucking ham stain?
You know what? A classy show we have together today. I'm like, that's where he wants to take it.
I know. Just fucking, we're waiting for Allison Janney. We're waiting for REM.
Yes. It's insane.
What a week we've had. We saw a Beatle this week.
We did. We saw a Beatle in real life, in the flesh.
By the way, I could barely watch Whoopi doing that interview. Terrible interview.
No, don't anymore.
Zero interest. She started with the town hall of like, well, we'll let them start and ask questions without her talking to Ringo at all. Couldn't believe it. But there you have it. This is how we do it.
That's assault, brother.
That's a little gossip from media. Here's some gossip. I saw Jen, and she's fighting with her sister because her sister used her perfume and her makeup.
Oh my God.
And then Jen's like, keep your goddamn hands off this perfume and makeup.
I won't tell anyone.
And then Jen's mom was sitting with Vito's mom. And then Vito's mom said, I'm going to beat that son of a bitch at Godfather. Because she gets all the Godfather and Chris doesn't. And then Chris burp twinned at Vito. That little baby's the best little baby ever.
I know.
We got a little baby in the home. We just
so
take
cute.
his head and smack in his face. Just smacking his own face.
He's so cute.
I love that kid. One thing I can't do is stay awake if a baby falls asleep.
I know.
It's like
what is it about them?
Because they look like they know how to sleep properly, not the way I sleep.
Like you see, like when a baby's like trying really hard to stay awake and their head's going like this, I feel my head start to do that as theirs.
I know too.
Oh God.
To have a baby sleep on your chest, forget about it.
What is that chemical that they have like more of? That it's just like they have more like sleepy chemical in them. So even being around babies, you kind of like pick up on it.
On it? I should go sleep in a nursery because I'm having a hard time sleeping lately. I should just they have 3-dog night. I should have a 3-baby night. Just pile babies up like they're fucking throw pillows. This is how we do it. I want to make sure we get to all this stuff. By the way, go pick yourself up a Bennington shirt. Almost Bennington. They're very cool shirts. I'm looking around at any of these things. I tell you the truth, none of it looks interesting to me. You know,
nothing's biting.
Nothing is getting to me at all. All Chris's perversion stories that he hands in one after another.
What is it about the perverse in you, Chris?
All right, wait. I'm going to do this real quick because we don't have much time, right? Before this story about least popular tourist states.
Yeah, so this is like the 20 bottom states. It's up on the iBang, but
we don't have time for 20. We're going to have to start with 10. 10 down.
Okay.
Because I want to see whether I've been to that state and whether I not. Because I'm telling you the truth. I don't think there's an ugly state in the United States.
I would agree. But when I had to look at this list, the bottom 10 really shocked me. Like, it was not at all what I thought it was going to be.
Is the worst tourist state Hawaii? Because that will.
No.
I'll go crazy if it's Hawaii.
It is not Hawaii. I am waiting for mine to load, and then I will read it.
It takes a while because of this Wi-Fi.
I know. This Wi-Fi is not.
Wi-Fi
all right.
goes.
Number 10.
Okay.
Kentucky.
Beautiful state.
Kentucky.
I did not know that bluegrass was a real thing until I was in Kentucky and could see
Like actual the shade of
I felt like that kid that put on the fucking
yeah.
the glasses this week. No, Kentucky's stunningly beautiful. Stunningly beautiful. What's next?
Number 9.
Number 9.
Number 9. Nebraska.
Okay, I mean that's a pretty dull state.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you that. That there's no reason to visit Nebraska.
Number 8.
Yeah.
Iowa.
Same thing.
Yeah.
These are not horrible places, by the way. But if you're comparing them to the other 50 states, I can see why they're in the bottom.
Number 7, West Virginia.
Bullshit.
Which I think is crazy because Smoky Mountains.
Yeah, stunningly beautiful state.
It's really, really pretty.
Scary people. I'm going to admit
Sure.
that. Some scary fucking meth heads. But you get away from them. And oxy heads now. And yeah, there's some real beauty there.
Number 6, least visited state, South Dakota.
One of the most beautiful places I've ever been.
Insanely pretty.
Yeah.
Number 5, Vermont. Again, Vermont
Gorgeous.
is so pretty. I mean, all year round, every
4
season
seasons.
is beautiful in Vermont.
I go to Vermont in the summer all the time, and it's pretty empty in the summer. Fantastic.
But like Vermont and Christmas is like they already have snow on the ground,
It's
so
everything.
it's like Christmas town when you go to
Yes.
like those little.
And in autumn, people go there. I don't really believe it's so unvisited. It's hard for me to believe.
I know. Is it just because it's little? Number 4, Montana. Again, maybe one of the most beautiful states there is.
I'm finding it hard to believe that people don't go to Montana.
Really weird. Number 3, Wyoming. Now we drove through Wyoming and it was not a destination, but again, super pretty. Like,
I've stayed in Wyoming before, and the most stunning sky I've ever seen in my life was
Yeah.
in Wyoming. A buddy of mine, we were 17 driving across the country, and there was a cloud so deep that we just pulled off the road to get out, and we were just like, what? I mean, we were smoking hash all the way. I'm not going to lie to you. We smoked hash the entire time that we were in the car. And we got out of the car and we are like, what the fuck? And I felt like my legs were, you know what I mean? It was
Right.
like big sky country.
Yes.
For real. There had to be a 5-mile deep cloud just hanging above us. Stunning.
and like I remember when we drove through, just like the way the sky looked, and then
Yeah.
those like big like alongside the road, the big hay
Yeah.
wheels, and
Yeah,
like
they're
the
gorgeous.
color.
Yeah,
It's
it's
just like it's
gorgeous.
insane. Number 2, Delaware.
Now, I can understand why people would say, oh, it's a little state. First of all, the shore is great.
Yeah.
And second, if you're in the Brandywine section of Delaware, which is up further and close to Pennsylvania, gorgeous.
Yeah.
Beaver Valley, gorgeous. Gorgeous. So now, would you visit Delaware on a vacation other than the shore? But
Yeah.
Rehoboth is fantastic.
Yeah, it's really, I mean, we were just talking about how great
Yeah.
the Delaware beaches are. Number 1 least visited state, Alaska.
I thought people loved to go to Alaska.
Me too. I thought that was people go up there for the whale watching tours. I thought that was like a destination place that people would go. I want to go to Alaska. I've
I
never
wanna go
been.
there and stay there. I'm surprised.
According to this, only getting about 2 million annual visitors a year.
I'm stunned. I'm stunned. You could knock me over with a baseball bat right now. I can't believe it. Seriously, you could shoot me with a bazooka. All right, we got to do a break before Alice and Jenny. This new movie called I, Tonya, about the Tonya Harding, the little redneck skater who became one of the most famous people. This is one of those
Yes.
crimes of the early 90s.
When
like
I was
the
a kid,
Menendez brothers, like O.J. Simpson. Everybody talked about Tonya Harding. And we watched this stupid thing get solved right in front of our eyes. It was so dumb. I mean, it was the dumbest thing you've ever seen. But, you know, you can't even understand that meanness that somebody would hit a fucking athlete in the leg. And
So
we don't even
cruel.
do this. No one's going, hey, I'm a big fucking Steelers fan, so I'm going to hit Tom Brady in the knee.
Yeah.
We would never even imagine that.
It's it's really, really creepy.
You know what people do all the time? They pull the fucking thing that when they're sleeping in a hotel room, they'll set off the fire alarms. Or somebody will just call the room, and later they'll find out it's a desk clerk. He's just like, Brady, you piece of shit. And we know you're calling from the front desk. All right, we'll break here. Hopefully we'll have Allison, Jenny, and this is Bennington. Bennington Show. Ron Bennington. Gail Bennington. Ron Bennington. We're waiting here for Allison, Jenny to stop by. We're trying to figure out what really broke her. We locked in the West Wing.
Yeah, I think West Wing was kind of like her breakout kind of role. She had been around before then, but I think that was like her first big the
one
role
that really stuck. And now with this I, Tonya, after the Toronto Film Festival, there's a lot of people that started a buzz, and in that buzz was the word Oscar. It was an Oscar buzz. I'll tell you, I would love to be nominated for an Oscar. To me, it's an honor just to be nominated.
Really?
But even more of an honor to win over the other honorees.
Would you be the kind of person who takes a few moments before you get to all your thank yous to go through and say why you love the other nominees or how great their performances were?
I'd be like this, John Lithgow, you are the reason I started drinking. Ed Asner, what can I say? From Mary Tyler Moore on, you meant everything to me. Skippy from Family Ties, maybe the best neighbor of all time. Mark Skippy Price, you are a diamond in the smooth, not even a rock. You're a smoothed over diamond. And then finally, to Al Pacino. Al, Hua would give this to me instead of you. I share this Oscar with you as well as I share my creativity with you. Being a creative artist that I am, I go deep in to find the character, and then I become that character. And then at the end of the shoot, I take a pillow, put it over that character's face, and smother him to death. And then if there's reshoots I find out about, I gotta get the jaws of life, spark into that character's chest. So, why is the band playing? Can anybody hear me with the band playing? First of all, I'd like to take some time to thank the people of color out there who have struggled so hard. I'd like to thank the Jews who had to put up with the Holocaust and the Native Americans. Apache. Bow, 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 bow. Kemosabe, jump on it. I would like to thank the tiny little Asian people who make us all our beautiful fashion with their little fingers. I'd like to thank each and every special needs child, particularly the ones who were abused. Thank you for this. I accept this award for all of us, but I'm going to keep it at my house. You know what I mean? Now, I'd like to say to my children, LaShonda and Jimson, get to bed now. Daddy's the biggest winner ever.
Oh my God.
And I'd like to take a special moment to say to Nipsey Russell in heaven, you created poetry that made us laugh and think. Okay? And no one else has done that in the history of the world.
I can't. I'm too silly now. Oh, God.
I'd like to thank the makers of Pop-Tarts. It's a quick, easy, edible treat. And we had it on the set every day. to my director. I overcame your mindless direction and was able to direct myself.
Shonda and Jimson.
I'd also like to thank my illegitimate children that I have in an outside family. Even though you don't know Daddy, he loves you very, very much. He just can't bring you up in public. Because it'll make everybody hate me. That's all I want to do is win a single award. Is that too much to ask for? One Oscar? I don't even care if it's Best Supporting. Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da. We running our guests too close together, Chris? I see you looking like you're Freak City over there.
I am not in Freak City. Everything will be fine.
Everything's gonna be all right. Rockabye. Rockabye. As dumb as that song is, I've never turned it off, and I will sing along every time. Chris should do that with the comedy jam.
Mm-hmm.
I'd love to do that.
Everything's gonna be all right. Rockabye. Just watching people walking out of the building.
Rockabye.
Fuck you, you ruined this. That weird part where you have to talk your way through it. Her parents had parties up in the Hollywood Hills. Like, you don't want to just write some
put
song
a tune
lyrics?
to it.
Yeah. What are you talking for?
Oh, my God.
What is this, The Streak? Ooh, 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 ooh. Man, Steve Bannon is on... They talk about Steve Bannon all day, every day.
Yeah.
Out of everybody out there, it's Trump and then Bannon.
Stays relevant, that dude. He's got the finger on the pulse.
He's got a finger on the vagina of America, and that's sexual assault. Assault and pepper. Trump, bless Franken, stays out quiet on Roy Moore. Wow, I like that rockabilly hair Ben is doing there, too.
Mm-hmm. He has some nice, lush locks.
Here comes Allison. Oh, you got the plug, Gail?
Yes, I, Tanya, comes out in theaters Friday, December 8th.
All right, you want to bring her in?
Let us bring her in.
Allison Janney.
Allison Janney is in studio with us. I, Tanya comes out in theaters Friday, December 8th, opening in LA and New York City.
And a little bit of a theme song for you from this part coming in.
That's my entrance music.
Yeah. Now, do you know that at the time, or is that a surprise later?
It was a surprise later.
Yeah.
And I'm a fan of entrance music. I like a song to play me into homes and.
Now you've got it.
This role really is. It's got to be the darkest thing you've ever played, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely, without a doubt.
Now, I know that actors always feel they have to find something positive about their character. Were you able to do that in this game?
Did you have any sympathy for her?
I did.
Yeah.
I did. I watched the existing tape we have on her from a documentary a Yale film student made. I watched her. And I saw her defending her choices and downplaying her the physical abuse, and I saw her saying that she didn't speak to Tanya anymore, and she said something like she turned her head like this and said this is fine. I could care less, and I just saw that. I just knew that there was pain underneath there, and then Stephen Rogers, who wrote the script. Hello.
Sorry.
Oh, thank you. You listening at home will never know what just happened, but perhaps you'll hear me a little better. the scene in the diner where Tanya asks her mother if she ever loved her, and Levana she rears up and just tells her daughter that, she's everything, that she basically gave her a gift, and trying to make her a champion, and knowing that she would hate her for it, and her whole life is was given to Tanya. Every penny she made, everything was about Tanya having a better life than she had. I got the feeling from that monologue, because we didn't get to meet the real Levana, and I got the feeling that she must have been an abusive household as well.
Sure, of course.
Yeah. And I felt that her mother probably didn't defend her or stand up to the father, and so there were lots of things that I found that I could empathize with or feel for Levana, and then telling her story, the whole monologue that I got to do that's interspersed throughout the movie, telling my side of the story, that's a really powerful monologue that I get to do, and yeah, it was hard. I'm going off here, but I'm trying to say there were lots of places I found to empathize with her and get behind doing her. Then I do a little actor's trick of pretending that anyone I'm screaming at is just Allison screaming at a part of me that I'm mad at.
Yeah.
Those little actor's tricks that we do to connect to things, because we're all our worst critics, and and so that's kind of a. Sorry, guys.
No, well, when we were talking about, I think you tend to feel empathetic about all the characters in this, because they're all coming from this place of poverty and ignorance, and then they become this sideshow joke for the whole country, the entire country. It became one of those stories that people love to pay attention to.
Yeah, particularly something with that much press coverage. You always think like, oh yeah, I know the story behind that. Right. But the truth is you really don't know the motivators and all the details behind it.
No, and this was the 1994, it was the birth of the 24-hour news cycle. So this hit there was the precursor to, OJ and the Menendez brothers, and literally it was only, I think it had 5 weeks before OJ came out.
Is that right?
Wow. Yeah. So, and the news organizations really painted the story in black and white terms with, Tanya, the evil girl and the villain and the hero. It was perfect for that kind of story and that narrative, and that's what they put out there. And people who remember it now think Tanya actually was the one who had a baseball bat and whacked Nancy Kerrigan's shins, and that's not all what happened. I was kind of surprised. I kind of always remembered, and I used to be a figure skater and aware of the figure skating community, and yet I totally judged Tanya and thought of course she did it, and after doing this movie, I think there were a lot of other players involved and a lot of other things that played a part of this incident that might not necessarily involve, she was involved, but maybe not as closely as people might think.
Well, figure skating is also one of those sports that it's not pure because it's also a pageant, right? So strength and speed and power there has to be this grace and beauty thing that takes place. You see that in gymnastics as well. Yeah. So it's a very difficult thing to put up with I did get cheated. Yeah. I am the strongest person out there.
She was a real athlete, and she was skated better than everyone around her, and yet she just didn't fit the mold of the figure skating community wanted to. They couldn't embrace her because she wasn't, didn't have long lines and have fancy skating outfits and fur coat and pearls and have a perfect family, and just she suffered by those standards they expected her to meet.
Yeah, it almost has. It's crazy that it was a true thing, a real thing that happened, because the characters are so strong and so big and over the top. It's almost like Swan Lake or something, because there is like this duality between her and then Nancy, and it is crazy the way it happened. Yeah,
I love that Steven throws in. I felt bad talking about this. So people where I'm giving away all the movie, you know, when I do this, you know what I mean? When you talk about, I want to talk about stuff in the movie, but I guess spoiler alert, if you don't want to know what, you know, what happens, turn your radios off. But, in terms of, what actually, oh my God, I'm sorry. I completely forgot what you were just saying.
About just like the duality and what strong characters they were.
Well, truth is, you know, in this case, truth is stronger than fiction, stranger than fiction. And Stephen puts on at the end of the movie the real characters, and otherwise you wouldn't believe that it's true. Right. Okay, why would Alison Janney play this character? I wonder if that was her idea to put a bird on her shoulder and do this and wear a fur coat. Like, what the hell is going on? And then you see at the end, it's actually it's not made up. This is who that woman was. And you hear the words come out of Sean's mouth. He really thought he worked for the FBI and was like, it's the secret. It's
stunning.
Just stunning how crazy these characters are. I just hats off to Stephen for trying to show all of these characters, you know, versions of what happened, of the truth, and then the time that we're living on now, how, you know, malleable. What is truth anymore anyway? Sure. It's just like a crazy thing. Truth. It's very strange to be living in these times and not know what, you know, what's real, what isn't real.
There's also a thing, and it probably has always been around in America, but to get famous or even infamous is what a lot of people think about all the time. Yeah. You know, as if somehow that's the best thing that could happen to you. And you never really run into that many people that are famous who are going, this is great. I'm really enjoying my fame. As many times as you are told, oh, fame is not all, it doesn't matter. Everyone is still weighing in towards it all the time.
I, Tanya comes out in theaters, opening in LA and New York Friday, December 8th.
I also think the whole redneck white trash brings out a weird superior thing in people, and I think that they love those kind of stories. You know, it's almost as much as we said that we never had a class system in this country. It's always
this movie is all about. There's all classism, and, you know, being from the wrong side of the tracks, and being judged for what you don't have, and that's a huge character in this movie.
Yeah. And those stories will always pop up. I mean, there's always a piece that, well, everyone likes to do it with Florida now.
Yeah.
Everyone thinks it's hilarious because some ridiculous thing has happened in Florida. And they feel superior to Florida, and Gail was born in Florida. And
then I moved here and found out that it was a punchline. I had no idea.
Yeah. You thought it was a paradise when you were younger.
What part of Florida were you born in?
I was born in St. Petersburg, Florida, near Tampa, so on the west coast of Florida.
I'm going to Miami tomorrow.
That's the part of the Florida that's still hip.
Yeah.
But they get over.
Yeah.
But the West Coast is always considered somewhat of a redneck alligator alley type thing.
But if you even think, like you were saying, is like the kind of obsession with those type of stories, I think also when they involve lower class, and they also involve women or young women, pretty young women. It makes me think of like remember the Top Mom, Casey Anthony thing, where that became just such an obsession. And there is an obsession with the young girl, like fall from grace, and there's a darkness behind. Like, it's weird the way those stories, and you don't know why they pick up the ones that they do. But
I also think that we like to think with white people, you don't even have an excuse. You know what I mean? You're like, hey, you're born white. Why didn't you make it happen? You know what I mean? So here's a chance. Somebody's hit the ground, and everybody else gets to put the boots to them.
I, Tanya comes out in theaters, opening in LA and New York Friday, December 8th.
When do you know that something like this works, though? Because obviously there's a lot of buzz around this. movie, but you go into every project being hopeful. Is it surprising when it works out like this?
When I first read the script, I just loved it, and I knew that a lot of people were responding to it, and it was on the coveted list, the blacklist in LA. It's the list of the top, screenplays that people want to do, and I was really excited for my friend. And I never know how things are going to be received. I knew that it was ours to lose because everyone loved the script so much, and but I going to the Toronto Film Festival where it was going to be seen for the first time was, I think we were all really nervous. I had no idea what was the first time I saw it there, and I don't usually like seeing what I do at all. I don't like that process, and this time I didn't mind it. I think because I looked so different than how I looked, that I was able to look at myself with some objectivity and just go for the ride in the movie and listen to the audience respond. It was like just gasps and laughter and horror. It was crazy to experience that. And then, I heard that people were enjoying it, and we still had to sell it. It's always a nail biting experience, I think, but I'm really proud of this one just because of my relationship with Stephen, the writer, and he, wrote the part for me, and that doesn't happen too often.
And then by the time that festival's over, all the buzz is happening. You're invited out with that very small list of people that Hollywood Reporter's talking to this time of year. I don't want to jinx anything, but the word is out there, and that's got to be a lot of fun, right?
That's a lot of fun. It's also, I'm cautiously optimistic. I'm excited, and yet I don't want to be, but I want to be. It's like it's a confusing time to what to think. Like, what should I be thinking about? I'm just going to try to be here and carry on a conversation with you guys. I feel lucky to be able to do that. And to be here about this movie. And I just, I'm completely bleary-eyed.
Well, thank you so much for stopping in.
Thank you for having me.
So great to have you here. Best of luck with everything.
I hope the next time that I get to talk to you guys will be on the first day of my press tour. I really do.
Allison Janney. I, Tonya opens in LA and New York theaters on Friday, December 8th.
We'll be back. Michael Stipe and Mike Mills, 25 years now since Automatic for the People. Great album. We'll be talking to those guys. This is Bennington. The Bennington Show. Chris is so excited. He worked very hard in getting that Allison Janney thing in. And I'm like, Chris, we're going to be doing REM. And he goes, yeah, but it's a Friday, and I just definitely think this thing's going to win an Oscar. I want you to make sure you're up for it. And then she was exhausted.
She was so tired. Her people, I guess, had just run her to the ground.
Well, why was that? Why were you so adamant about that one, Chris? Who was on you? Because I never remember you even asking as many times as you did on that one.
I was working with Spencer on that one.
You and Spencer?
Yeah.
Did you owe him one or what?
No, I didn't know him anything.
But you're just a big fan of hers and just...
I'm a fan of hers, and that movie's getting a lot of buzz.
Well, you carried the water for them. They should be happy with you. It's Friday, about to get into that Thanksgiving week. Thursday and Friday, you're going to hear from the big Thanksgiving show that took place. Thanks to everybody that came out to that, and thanks for all your feedback. I don't know how we're going to top that next year.
No, it's going to be impossible. And it's crazy to say this because we've had so many live shows that we just had so much fun at, but that was like just the experience of being a part of that, getting to see everybody there.
It was like the last waltz.
Yeah, it really was. It really was.
And I felt like Bobby Kelly was our Joni Mitchell. You know?
Yes.
No regrets, Coyote. Maybe next year we can get Allison Janney there, Chris.
That'd be great.
See if she's available on a Friday, because we're going to do it on a Friday next year.
Okay.
Bum, 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 bum. Couple of minutes. One of Gail's favorite bands of all time. Definitely one of my favorite bands of all time. Michael Stipe will be here. and Mike Mills. 25 years since Automatic from the People.
Yeah, I'm getting a little fluttery. Like, I'm nervous about it because
You should be nervous.
I feel so excited that these guys are coming in.
Mr. Michael Stipes does not suffer fools gladly.
Oh, no.
So you better be on your A game.
I'll try not to be a fool.
Great band, though, man.
Yeah.
And I'm just saying that. I'm just being honest for once in my life. I'm just going to be honest for once in my life and say there's occasionally bands that are adored and loved by the audience and loved by the critics, and then you go, oh man, I still think they might be underrated.
Yeah, I think so too. I legitimately think that they should always be like one of the top bands always mentioned is like greatest bands of all time.
I was going through this last night and I'm like, why don't we have an REM channel on Sirius XM? And not just the pop-up, a full-time REM channel out of Athens. This is Peter Buck. I'm here on the REM channel. Very distinctive sound to that band too. You know, not just Michael Stipes singing and lyrics, which obviously,
his voice.
We've never
is
seen
so,
anybody like him before, but
the quality of his voice is just like
man, it's just great. But the band itself has just a signature sound. Have you ever heard that album that those three did with Warren Zevon, and they cover Raspberry Beret? It's fucking great. Forget what they were calling themselves. Some crazy. They just made up a nutty name and just acted like they were a real band, but they just did this one-off. And Chris, can Alice and Johnny come back for that?
I think she's done with her press. That band was Hindu Love Gods.
Yeah, but I'm talking about Alice and Johnny now because this was a big one for you.
Yeah. I think she's.
Did you love it? Were you having one of those days where you're like, I can't believe this is all come together?
She was great.
Yeah. Movie. That movie, I, Tanya. I, Tanya.
Ay, Tanya.
Mark Norman.
Tanya.
As Jeff Galooly. Yeah, that fat kid that said that he was with the FBI or CIA or some shit. It's nutty.
So crazy.
White people, like those kind of white people can make you very nervous.
Yeah. Like
very
dangerous.
Nervous.
Scary whites.
Why do you leave junk cars in your yard? Why can't you just fucking
get rid of those?
You're not going to get something out of it. It's not an asset that you got an old Rambler. It's got fucking grass growing up through the floor. I'm going to tell you right now, Nancy Kerrigan, not the nicest.
Yeah.
Remember this? Nancy Kerrigan thought you never skate again.
I think about that all the time. Like anytime I think of the Tanya Harding story.
Well, when he did that, people were like, "You're fucking making fun of the victim," and he was like, "I know I am."
Yeah, but do you remember how like mocked and parodied like both of them were? Like because she because she had that cry. Why? She had that cry.
It was a nutty why cry.
And then the broken lace was like everyone mocked that.
Yeah. And then right away, Tanya Harding was one of the original sex tapes. And
oh, really?
Unwatchable, as you can imagine.
Not good.
Unwatchable. Just like, would these people stop fucking? Everyone was saying, I don't want them to fuck anymore. Galooly's, actually, his penis had the same mustache as his nose.
Oh, God.
It was right under his penis and above his balls.
Oh, God.
People, well, I'll say this. History hates a mustache. And yet no one is wearing a mustache where you're like, oh, I hate their mustache. I wish they didn't have it.
No, I'm actually very pro mustache. But you're right.
I prefer to go to mustache.
Mustache.
And why isn't it like, say, Chris has a mustache, but because he has a neck beard, he doesn't take heat for it.
Yeah.
But if he shaved down and left the mustache, people would be acting like somehow that's a bad thing.
Have you ever thought about that?
I've never thought about taking just the mustache. I think I look creepy.
I think you need to get rid of the neck beard.
But you could do it the next time you shave. Just have 2 days of the mustache.
All right, I'll rock that.
See how it is.
Show it off a little bit.
You and
Maybe
Vito
keep
do it
the
at the same
goatee.
time.
Maybe keep that little soul pouch there too.
I used to have a goatee and the soul patch in college.
Let me see. Dave has a question for us. Dave, what is it, buddy?
When Nancy Kerrigan come back from the Olympics and she was at Disney World, didn't she get caught on tape mouthing something and they really bashed her over it?
Oh, yeah, you're right. She did. I think she acted like she hated her own fans.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But she was very, she's a very attractive woman.
Mm-hmm.
But you were right earlier when you said everyone involved in that got mocked.
Yeah, everybody. There was not a good character in the whole thing. They were all villains.
And I remember when Nancy was like, right after she got smashed, the other girl got smashed, she goes, I can't wait for her to get better for the Olympics so I can kick her butt. Like it was all fun.
Right,
We're just like, you fucking did it.
Too soon, you creepy.
Yeah. Too early, we like to say. And someone said, I hate every mustache ever. Robert Redford's mustache in the 70s was
So great.
very well liked. How could you not like? People are saying yuck. Burt Reynolds had a wonderful mustache.
No,
in the 70s.
I love a stash, especially a 70s stash.
Yeah,
it's great.
Mario Brothers, fantastic mustache.
You must like them, don't you?
David Crosby,
great
mustache. Walrus
bushy
mustache.
walrus mustache.
I am the walrus. Look at my stash. Any moment we'll be talking with Michael Stipe and Mike Mills, and hopefully Allison Janney is able to come back. She'll get a second win and she'll stop back in with us. Fez Whatley always had a terrific mustache too.
Yeah.
Wonderful. I like the one that went right into the sideburns.
Yeah.
I don't know if that has a name.
It's like the hold on. I think it's like maybe there's is it a Buchanan or something like that?
Might be. It looks like you're going to shoot someone with a musket. It really does. It's a Pat Buchanan. All right, we are ready to celebrate 25 years of one of rock's great albums, Automatic for the People. This song has been redone, right? Well, not redone, but there's a new video.
There's a new extended cut of the original video.
And it's R-rated.
Yes.
R-rated. So you might see some things that you don't want to show the children.
NSF dubs.
Right. Private parts.
Mm-hmm.
So, night swimming, REO Speedwagon.
REM.
What the fuck? I just had an Allison Janney. REM.
Michael Stipe and Mike Mills are in studio with us. The 25th anniversary release of Automatic for the People is available now in stores and online. The deluxe anniversary edition also includes a 2-disc edition of the album and a full live set live at the 40 Watt Club from 1992.
25 years. 25 years.
The blink of an eye.
They're crazy, right? They told us that when we were younger and we never believed them, that it was a blink of an eye.
Mm-hmm.
But it is. They were always right.
Yep.
Yeah.
I didn't expect to live to 25, much less be able to look back and have very solid memories.
Yes. Yeah. It is shocking, like, when you get older than any heroes that you had. You're like, the first time, you're like, oh, I'm older than James Dean. I'm older than Jimi Hendrix. How's this supposed to work out this way?
Obama was the first president that I voted for who was younger than me, and that was a bridge to cross.
It was also the first president I ever voted for that won. So it was really stunning.
Good work.
Looking back 25 years, do you look at the album differently now than
Absolutely. And putting together this package is a part of that. It's fascinating to me to be able to look at something that we made that long ago through the lens of the 21st century. And we are now much older men than we were then by 25 years. But we were relatively young when we made this, just into our 30s. And, survived our 20s, which I didn't expect to make it to 30. But as a 57-year-old looking back and just kind of going, wow, this is really actually quite universally beautiful and loved. And we made it. That's kind of amazing.
What was new for you when you rediscovered it? What was...
Well, the track listing, I listened to the Atmos Dolby remix that Mike and Peter helped out Scott Litt and Cliff Narrow, the original producer and engineer for Automatic for the People, came together to do this remix. And I hadn't listened to the record probably in 24 years. And I was sitting in a dark theater listening to track after track after track. And I was like, oh, that song's on there. Oh, that one's on there too. And you play the songs live, but you don't play the whole album, or we never did. So it was shocking to me. By the time we got to the end of the record, I was like, holy shit, this record's got some really good tracks on it. And I sound self-congratulatory, but I really meant it. I was kind of like shocked.
Well, it also came at a point of your career that you guys have been building towards, I think, this kind of record for a long time, because I don't think there's any way for young people to realize what a shocking band REM was when they came out. It totally changed my way, not the way I just looked at the music itself, but the South. It was a whole different South than my own prejudice had allowed me to understand existed.
Yeah, that was something we were actually conscious of from the beginning, putting the kudzu on the record, which is a particularly Southern growth.
Yeah.
And doing, just showing the face of the South that we knew, as well as the ones that the people in the North didn't. One of our favorite things was we played a club in like Long Island City called Spies or something, and this guy came up to me and he says, "You guys talk okay for somebody from the South, you know?"
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Well, thank you very much. We appreciate that. It's but yeah, it was nice to just show people the South that we knew and loved.
And I'm also trying to think if I knew who the band was before the Letterman show or not, because I thought that was also one of those TV moments that even if you go back and watch it now, you wouldn't get something like that on television. Dave wouldn't have given somebody 2 songs back to back. Do you guys remember that night very well? Or?
I do. I think it was a particularly slow week.
Yeah.
Maybe a guest dropped out and they needed to fill 4 minutes, but they did give us 2 songs, one of which didn't have a name. It was the first time that we had performed South Central Rain, live, I think, probably.
Yeah. Dave was always good about giving bands a chance. He really enjoyed being the first to show bands off that he or his staff had discovered, and he's a music lover among whatever else he might be doing. So we always felt a weird connection with Dave just from that very show on.
That was the night that I got the moniker Enigma.
Yes.
Because they came to the producer came and said, all right, after you perform the song, Dave's going to walk over. Mr. Letterman is going to walk over, and he's going to speak. He's going to shake your hands, and he's going to speak to one member of the band. Who should it be? And Peter said, I'll do it. So when he walked towards us, I just sat down on the monitor. What I didn't know is that the camera had me cut at the chest, and so I sat down, but it looked like I looked like a Muppet. I look like when one of the Muppets kind of disappears from view, and from that moment forward, I became enigmatic.
Well, I mean, if you even think about it now, who would say, "Oh, we've got a new song, we don't have a name for it yet, so we'll do this on TV"? Like everybody would have went back to the first album.
Right.
Yeah. What's the next track? But to do that and then have that song be so mind-blowing great, it was an amazing TV moment. I brought it up to Paul Schaefer not too long ago because I just don't think that kind of moment could exist on television now.
A lot of it was Peter's idea because Peter and I both agreed that one of the coolest things about going to a concert and seeing a band is hearing them do a new song they haven't even recorded or released yet. It's certainly, I think it's a nod of respect to the audience that they're going to be able to want to hear that and not have to have the hits played for them or the things that they know. And it's asking a bit of the audience, but I think it they appreciate the gesture of respect.
Also, TV was looser then. It was, you know, we were coming out of the 70s when you had Merv Griffin and Mike Douglas and these kind of great talk shows where people would just go on and talk. You didn't really have to sell a movie or a book or a record. You could just be a person who's an interesting cultural figure. And so I think, you know, we don't really have that now so much. I mean, we have it, I guess, maybe we have it on YouTube or we have it online a little bit more,
But yeah, the whole point is, hey, you're going to see Tom Hanks on 15 different shows, and then after Friday, you won't see him again for a while because
the next movie.
Yeah, the movie has come out, and that's why he was out. I love the fact that you guys have this from the 40 Watt Club on here too, and we had done a show not too long ago talking about Athens, and it was such an amazing scene.
So much incredible music and you guys being such great influencers, but Pylon and the B-52s and Matthew Sweet, and it was just so much fun to go through how many incredible bands came out of that time period.
One of my favorite bands from back then is about to do a couple of shows. I think the end of this week, Love Tractor is playing with one of the best bands to come out of Atlanta in that period, the Swimming Pool Cues. I'm afraid I'm going to have to miss them, but it's a couple of shows I'd really like to see.
And one of the people who came out of that scene, who went to college at the University of Georgia, is Casey Spooner, who went on to the Chicago Art, the School of Art in Chicago, and met Warren Fisher and formed the electroclass group Fisher Spooner, who, as it turns out, I wound up accidentally co-writing and producing their next album, which comes out in February. And the single Butterscotch Goddamn came out yesterday, which is exciting for me.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite songs on the record. So check that out when you get a chance.
Very cool.
But I think it's also one of the last times that you could have that, okay, this is because this is of this time and place. And those young people were cut off from even Atlanta, let alone New York or LA. And now that we're so connected, I don't know if people get that chance to let it percolate for a couple of years.
That is unfortunately true.
Yeah.
Certainly, you know, we weren't as good when we started as we were 2 years later. And you can probably say that of most bands.
Sure.
And, you know, it's too bad because bands should be given a chance to grow. Nobody starts out super great all the time, and you got to let them become who they are. And unfortunately, there's not time for that anymore.
I can think of one exception to that. One of your favorite groups in the world.
That started out great?
Yep.
U2?
No. The Ramones.
Oh, yeah.
The Ramones, yeah.
They emerged. They emerged intact into the world. Thanks a lot to Danny Field, I think their manager. But they had the names, they had the look, they had the sound, they had the short songs. They emerged completely adult and intact.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just heard that thing not too long ago. It was somebody had a radio thing with Lou Reed, and Lou had just been turning on and listening to the Ramones. He goes, "Oh, they make the rest of us look like sissies." He just loved the fact that they came out hard and just song after song after song. He wasn't ready for it.
And such a timeless group too. Like, you know, young people continue to discover them and become, influence them as people. It's crazy.
Again, did they need CBGBs, the short sets at CBGBs where, okay, we got to do as many songs as we want? Right. Again, it's that time and place thing that I think bands need, you know?
I feel like they were prescient in terms of attention span. You know, every song doesn't have to be 5 or 6 minutes long, and the Ramones proved that. But they also, I mean, they are still relevant. You recognize or kind of figure out that doo-wop meant a lot to them. The kind of like girl group thing, Ronnie Spector, the Ronettes. You know, that's kind of basically they were doing like a male version of Ronnie Spector.
You know, we had Ronnie, and still,
she's amazing, huh?
So great,
what a voice.
man!
What a voice!
What a voice! What style, and the way that everybody she met at the time, their style changed immediately. Like you see, like this thing of like what
her
the
influence
Stones,
on the Beatles.
Yeah, the Stones and the Beatles started dressing like they were from Spanish Harlem. Days after meeting her.
Yeah, no, she's incredible, and the voice is still there.
Yeah,
I hate the word still. The voice is there.
Yeah,
I've seen Beyond the Beehive twice at City Winery down 7th Avenue. You know, she performs maybe a Christmas show.
Yeah, she's doing a Christmas show again. Chris, let's get the date on that too, because those things are amazing.
They're
when
amazing.
she comes. Yeah.
I'll see you there. I'll be at the back. I'll be at the back of the room.
Cool. I love it. And you guys at the 40 Watt Club, which is where this live recording took place, long after you'd already had all these amazing songs by the time. But why this show? Out of all the things,
we weren't touring, and we hadn't toured since '89. We went around the world 3 times in 1989, Green World Tour, and we had been on tour for basically the entire of the 1980s. So for Out of Time, we said, let's not tour. I said, I'm not going to do press. I'm tired of hearing myself speak. I have nothing new to say. We didn't do press. We had the biggest hit single of our entire career with Losing My Religion. And then we do a follow-up for Automatic for the People comes out. And Greenpeace approached us. I'm a hippie. I'm proud of it. And Greenpeace said, we've figured out a way to power an entire rock show off of solar energy. We figured out how to store it in a truck, and we can power a show. Would you like to do something? And we said, well, yes. We'll do a one-night tour of this record. And so we did this solar energy-powered set at the 40 Watt Club in Athens, Georgia. And it was the first time that we had performed Losing My Religion in front of an audience, I think. Right, Mike?
I would say so.
The first time we performed Out of Time and Automatic for the People, our 2 biggest selling records ever. And the only time until 1995 when we went on tour with Monster.
It's so amazing when you go back and listen to this record, too. It's so much stuff about being on the edge and what we're doing with, the planet being in trouble. And this is still the theme. I mean, in a lot of ways, the record could come out today.
Well, that's the shocker for me, is that 25 years ago, we were convinced or coerced by a really good environmental organization at the time into doing this show to prove that there are alternatives to fossil fuels. The last time I performed live was 10 days ago at Carnegie Hall for another great organization called Pathway to Paris, started by Patti Smith's daughter, Jessie Smith, and her friend Rebecca Foon. And it's about the Paris Accords. It's about about climate change and about alternatives to fossil fuels, trying to find. But here we are 25 years later. Our generation kind of dropped the ball. Not kind of. We dropped the ball. We're now kind of standing at, the precipice, I think, trying to figure out how we're going to advance into the next generation, the generation after that. We've got to make a big change. I'm tired of hearing about Judge Roy Moore and this administration. We need to focus on things that are more important.
Well, isn't it also like, even then we're like, oh, Jimmy Carter wanted to make this happen in 77 or 78. I mean, it isn't even just like the last 25 years. It's at least the last 40 or 50. Yeah. And you think, well, these are the people who went to the moon. You know what I mean? We pulled off going to the moon.
Yeah. I met Buzz Aldrin. That was so cool.
Yeah.
He's amazing. He's really amazing.
And you think, all right, to do that, what's the next step? Where do you go with that kind of technology? And it's come down to, we can watch cool stuff on our phones. You know what I mean?
Right.
Nobody was dreaming of that. Like, no one was watching Star Trek going, the phones are going to be amazing in the future. But it's the stuff that we seem like we're still worried about, this weird entertainment stuff or weird self-numbing stuff that we have.
Yeah, there are a lot of people that want us to be consumed with that so they can keep doing the things they've been doing for the last 50 years. And the progress that you're talking about that we'd like to see made would cost a lot of very powerful people a whole lot of money, and they don't want to turn loose of that. So it's like, you guys pay attention to Trump's tweets and worry about your cell phones and maybe some self-driving cars, but don't worry about the carbon bubble or oil.
We're going to dismantle the EPA while you're over there.
Right.
I read an article about Sir Richard Attenborough does Blue Planet. Is that what it's called? And a new thing has come out about that, and a new TV show has been released. And apparently, I read this in Europe somewhere, in maybe The Guardian. 800 million Chinese people downloaded and watched that show, and so ecology, or the idea of sustainable, like people are watching this TV show about the coral reefs bleaching and the problems that we're having with the oceans and with water rising and what have you. And so here's this country that's kind of profoundly important to the amount of carbon dioxide that we have in the air, and we now have 800 million people who watch this TV show and don't want the coral reefs to die.
Sure.
So, through art, through the creative arts, good things can happen. I remain optimistic that if enough of us talk about it and keep it on the light side, Mike pulls me off my soapbox from time to time, but that we can actually affect change. We can do something. We can turn this thing around.
But you think it's just a piece at a time, or is there going to be some kind of switch that goes off that people are just like, okay, we're locking in now?
That's a really good question. But I mean, how many devastating hurricanes and flooding do we have to have before that switch is flipped?
Yeah.
Oh no, this is just standard weather, but obviously it's not. But people go back to staring at their cell phones and forget about it. I don't understand it.
I kind of blame media for a lot of it. They're just not really, journalism is not really journalistic at this point. And debate doesn't exist in American media.
And then the hope too is to educate young people about it. Because I think that those kind of things, if you're raised to have value in something, you're more likely to carry it. So if you make the information accessible, you raise children to realize that this is fact. You have a better hope that they're going to carry on that.
Absolutely. It starts with the kids.
Yeah.
It starts with kids. Everything does. Yeah. And you see that very clearly right now in LGBTQIA and the way younger generations are just like, yeah, of course, no problem. What are we talking about?
Yes, they don't have the debate, and they also don't feel wonderful that they've accepted somebody. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like younger kids are just like, no.
And the gap is so different now because, what I felt was progressive when I was younger, and then the next generation, the kids who are, middle school, high school age now are beyond, way beyond even what my generation is, which is crazy is those changes are happening so rapidly.
Yeah.
I was considered bold for owning Bowie albums in my neighborhood. You know what I mean? It was like, this guy's
probably
edgy.
were.
Well, you have to hide it. But isn't that like, if you think about that, when I was young in the 70s, if you loved glam rock, you weren't going to be prejudiced against gays. It's that simple. You're like, oh, this band. So if you find that thing, so that is the place that I think art becomes the most accessible to people, where you're like, if you love this, how can you hate it? It was the same way with Philly Soul. If you love Philly Soul, how are you going to get in a race fight later? How are you going to have the same views as your parents or your crazy uncle?
Yep. Can't separate the two.
Yeah, you just can't, or you don't bother even attempting to. When you guys look back at REM now, is it almost hard for you to believe that was the path that you guys chose to follow and were able to pull that off? Is that
it just felt so natural when we were doing it, really. Everything was so gradual. We knew how lucky we were, but at the same time, it felt like this is exactly what should be happening. We kept waiting for the backlash, and every record seemed to do better than the last one, and we were getting better at what we were doing, we were lucky to be doing the thing that we loved, and we were aware of that all the time, and that was something that we held on to.
It's a smaller amount of groups in the history of the world that have put out this kind of music, though. It's really phenomenal to stand back and look at it through time a little bit, because it's just album after album after album. It's great. Thanks so much for stopping in, guys.
Thank you for making me blush on radio. It's a real pleasure to talk to both of you.
The 25th anniversary release of Automatic for the People is available now in stores and online. The deluxe anniversary edition also includes the 2-disc edition of the album and a full live set live at the 40 Watt Club from 1992. REMHQ.com for more information. Michael Stipe, Mike Mills, thank you so much.
Thanks so much, guys.
Thanks for having us.
25 years after Automatic for the People. That was great, huh?
That was insane. I mean, my heart is still pounding. That was like a really, really crazy experience for me.
That was a childhood hero of yours. Of
Absolutely.
That was funny bringing up that that Letterman show. What did he say? That's when people first said I was, what was the word to use?
The mystic.
Enigma.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, if you go back and watch it, you'll probably see it on YouTube. It looks so weird to see the front man kind of ignoring a host of a show. That's what it came off at. Now that he explained it that way.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
But great album, great band, great songs, great albums. Just
so many
decades of great albums. Now he's going to be wearing the Bennington family Almost Famous. He loved it.
And he got it on BenningtonShow.com. the only place you can get it. And there's also links to get it on the Bennington Show Twitter at the top of the page.
Sounds like there's more than one place.
Well, I mean, like, it's the main place to get it. There's one main place, and that's BenningtonShow.com.
What about iBank Shop?
iBankShop.com, too. So there are multiple places, but trying to streamline the process.
Yeah, but I just don't feel like you are folksy enough with people. I like to see you be a little folksier. Like, yeah, I think it would be great if you had a weed in your mouth and you just, well, looks like Thanksgiving and Christmas is coming in.
Shirt. Don't get me started on shirts.
I was told that Vito was the best out of all of us of pushing the shirts.
Really?
And I think it's because he's so homey. He's down homey.
He is, yeah. He seems like somebody who would get the fixins for us on our...
Are you guys just passing through town right now?
Hey, kids, rock and roll. You know, I want to see a picture of you in your shirt over Thanksgiving break.
Okay.
Okay, Ron.
Okay, Ron.
Nothing I like better.
I'll get them. And I like it also when he explains the pinned tweet.
I love the garden weasel. You just move it back and forth. Go to what? There we go. My producers are tired. You're going to take a little break. Little break for yourself. Let's see. Chris has a promo for us here. You want to record it, Chris? We've had to take a lot of it out because it came in at 67 seconds, I think.
Wow.
It's a 30-second promo.
Right, ready?
Mm-hmm.
The third annual Bennington Family Thanksgiving. Thursday, noon East on Raw Dog 99, replaying the day after and all weekend long.
Featuring Jim Norton and Sam Roberts.
The Bonfire.
Artie Lang and Anthony Cumia.
Rich Voss and Bonnie McFarlane.
Jim Florentine.
Judah Freelander.
Chip Chipperson.
The Goddamn Comedy Jam, and so much more.
The third annual Bennington Family Thanksgiving, premiering Thursday, noon East on Raw Dog 99, replaying the day after and all weekend long.
Was that 30?
That was 30.
Oh my God, we did it.
Nailed it. We nailed that dull thing. Andrew, West Virginia.
Hey, Ron.
Yeah.
I had a bunch to say about that interview, but I just realized I would sound like an idiot. So I just wanted to tell you you're the best interviewer on the planet.
Well, first of all, no, let's discuss it. Gail and I just enjoyed that so much. What would you like to talk about?
Well, I'm a front man in a touring band, and when I saw Michael Stipe on Letterman, it kind of changed my whole approach to being a front man, and I just was in love with it, and I was enamored with you and Gail's interview, and like I said, I'm just kind of enamored by the whole thing.
Well, I even brought up to them, I don't know if I knew who the band was before, whether an article. But on Letterman, and this is like, I don't know, 83 or 84, they did Radio Free Europe, which nothing sounded like that. No Southern band ever sounded like these guys. The Southern band went from kind of a hipper kind of Southern rock to the dumber Southern rock and then country. You know what I mean? But these guys were like art school, Southern.
Intellectual and sensitive.
Intellectual.
Weird.
There's, the entire vibe was it was just something you hadn't seen before. And Stipe, I mean, I put Stipe with that Jim Morrison of like, what is he thinking? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where is he going? And people have always been, interested in him. Without him, kicking and jumping off speaker, he just had that thing. But
I'm from West Virginia, so we're pretty much a punchline, just like Florida.
Yeah.
So I grew up listening to old time music and bluegrass music, and so when I saw a Southern band like REM doing something completely unique, it just made me. I mean, I'm proud of being from the South, but not in the Leonard Skinner way.
But, Leonard Skinner is cool in their own way, but it's just cool to see, that these guys had their own scene going on, and it kind of opened up a new thing. But I remember just being blown away by REM, and I still am. I still think they're one of the great bands of all time. Thanks so much, Andrew. Best of luck to you too, my friend. Peace. Greg, what's up?
Hey, Ron. Been listening for a long time. Standing up even back in the Ron and Ron days.
Wow.
So, I was hoping you would bring up one of the funniest things I've ever heard you say to Michael Stipe, or about Michael Stipe. When he first came out of the closet, Fez was doing a news story. He brought it up, and you said, geez, that's funny. I didn't realize he was in the closet.
You know what? I don't think I ever did realize that. I always thought that he would have been one of the first pans.
Yeah, he seems to have fluidity in all ways.
He does.
You know what I mean? Like, even sitting here, the way he just listens and the way he kind of like moves in and out of the conversation, he's kind of just like an ethereal creature.
He is ethereal. Yeah. That's the best word for him. All right, that was a blast. Jen, did you put up the picture on the Instagram yet? Or
right now I am.
All right, we moved over in front of the red curtains because we thought that would look better.
Yeah.
Okay, it's up.
We're trying to look like we're in the band.
I think we do look like we're in the band. Wait, whose picture's that?
That's me.
Who is that?
I have no idea. Little Red Heidi Wood.
I don't know.
Why do we have her up there?
What did you guys look at?
Autocomplete?
That's the girl that we were looking at who LeBron DM'd last week.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
How long has it been sitting there?
I go straight when I go to Instagram.
Hey kids, rock and roll. Nobody tells you what to do. Remember when we used to actually think of rock and roll as like a universal thing like that? It's almost like he was mocking people for digging rock and roll. Oh, I like that picture.
Yeah.
We do look like we should have been all looking in different directions though. And he has his hand over his heart.
I know. That's how he poses cool.
He's not like
God.
these
I can't even believe
NFL
that happened.
players. That was great, man. Chris said to me, "Who's Rem?" I go, "Who's Rem?"
Chris.
I was confused.
All right, we're running a little late today, huh, Chris?
Yeah, a little late.
20 minutes over. You know why, right?
Why's that?
REM, baby. That's it for us then. Enjoy your weekend. And Gail, is there anything left to tell them?
We'll see you all again in 1974.
Ladies and gentlemen, the evening is over. We hope you all enjoyed yourselves, and we'll see you all again in 1974. Good evening!